The veterans of the American Speed Association. They are the guts and the backbone of the series. They have waged war for decades at racetracks all over America. New venues come, and even new competitors. But the battle rages on. And right now, these veterans are the hottest ticket around. We're just 20 minutes east of the Thunder of Niagara Falls at the Pontiac Excitement 300, where today the Thunder will come from V6 ASA Motors. The weather here today, boy, it is hot out on the racetrack. 90 degrees, some 57% humidity, not nearly enough wind to cool the drivers down inside the cockpit. Hi, everybody. I'm Ralph Shaheen. We've made it all the way to Lancaster Speedway, just outside of Buffalo, New York. Jim Trado joining me as always. Now, ASA has raced here in New York State 3 times over the years, but this is the first time we've been back to this venue in quite a while. In fact, we've never actually raced at Lancaster. Some of the drivers, sometimes, Jim, really do well at new venues.
You would think the local favorites might have an edge if they rent or ride, but historically in the 29 seasons of ASA, it's been the veterans. Mike Eddy, Bob Seneker, and Butch Miller have dominated when it comes to winning at the first time the series visits a new racetrack. This is the 49th racetrack, Ralph, that they visited in the 29 years of ASA.
Now, 2 drivers were able to come up here earlier in the year and do a little testing. One of them was this driver right here, Mike Miller. Mike has qualified the Car Cop Team USA handball machine right up on the inside of row number 2. He'll start 3rd here today.
But you see that he's mixed in with some rookies at this racetrack. Mike Garvey's never been here before. He's on the outside of row number 3. To his inside, a great qualifying run by the young Ohio driver, Joe Knott. He's on the right behind Mike Miller. So mix those drivers that don't have a lot of experience in ASA, along with Ted Smokestad, along with Bob Seneker there, and you've got a good mix of veterans and first-time drivers here at Lancaster.
Makes for an interesting mix at the front of the field. At the very front of the field, you'll find 2 people. One of them is our Dave Burns. He'll be the 3rd member of our crew working pit lane down there today. He is standing by with the guy who has won the pole here for the Pontiac Excitement 300.
Well, Ralph, when people think of veterans in ASA, they normally think of Bob Seneker and Mike Eddy, and that's their short list. Today on the outside of row number 1, Scott Hansen will start, and he has 12 years experience in the American Speed Association. He has sat on the pole 10 times in his career, not today. Today it goes to Gary St. Amant, who ended the I-70 Speedway with the points lead and a pole position, but since then, his activity as far as qualifying up front kind of fell off, and Gary, there was a lot of concern on a lot of people's parts as to whether that was really telltale of where your season was going. How are you guys able to pull out of that?
Well, we come here with kind of a different setup, and actually I think we finally hit a good setup for the flat tracks, and you know, it's real good for us to have the Wins Ford Thunderbird on the pole here, you know, kind of start the second half of the season out on the right foot, so hopefully we can keep it here today and win.
Now, Gary, you talked about handling. Were there any other mechanical problems that you guys were able to sort of chase down and find that really set you up for the second half of the season?
Well, you know, we kind of chased the setup. You know, early in the year we had a pretty good setup for most of the racetracks, and you know, the last couple of races we struggled, and you know, we went back to a basic setup that we used to run when we had the Chevrolets, and you know, when we went to the Ford, we had a little different setup for it, and we kind of switched things back around, and we're racing it just like it was the Chevrolet, and thank God for that Ford horsepower, because that's what's putting us up front here.
Guys, they were a little quiet for a few weeks there, but they're back to their old jovial selves. Gary St. Amant will start in the first position.
I think that's an important point, too. That team has really loosened up in the last couple of weeks. They're having a lot of fun, and sometimes when you do that, you go to the front of the points. So let's show you the point standing so you can see where your favorite driver is right now. Here's a look at the top 5. Hansen, you might remember, we're chasing an 8-week stretch of races here. The number to the far right of the graphic is how many places up or back the driver has moved in the last couple of weeks in the points. So Scott Hansen moved up 1 from last week. Gary St. Amant moved back 1. Tony Raines makes a big jump. Joe Knott stays right where he's at. Dave Sense, but dropped back 2 spots. So these few weeks of racing here, Jim, can really make a difference in the point standings.
And all these drivers, with the exception of Joe Knott, finished in the top 10 last race. There's only 37 points separating 3rd from 7th. And if Mike Eddy has a good race today, Tony Raines doesn't, and things work out, Mike Eddy could vault from 10th all the way to 3rd. It's that close.
Before we can do that, we got to fire the motor. So let's go back downstairs to Dave Burns to get that underway.
We're standing by with Mike Matthews, who is a Pontiac district manager for Western New York, and his main purpose in life is to make sure the cars get to the dealership. Today, Mike, you got to make sure 29 ASA cars get started. Go ahead.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
AC-Delco Challenge Series is racing for the first time in Buffalo, New York. The Pontiac Excitement 300 coming up.
AC-Delco knows that as a car gets older, its engine runs rougher. So we developed a spark plug to help bring back new car feel, and things really gelled. Rapid Fire from AC-Delco. It makes an engine idle up to 27% smoother and accelerate with up to 18% quicker throttle response. Rapid Fire. Its performance ought to have the competition shaking.
Wynn's Extend Supreme Plus is a patented oil supplement especially formulated for today's high-tech engines. Extend helps increase oil life, combats engine wear, and reduces oil oxidation. So next time and every time you have your oil changed, ask for Extend, the supplement that will not void manufacturer's warranties and comes with its own 100,000-mile warranty. Extend Supreme Plus, a Wynn Oil Company product since 1939. Available at your quality service facility, including Firestone, Goodyear, and Grease Monkeys.
You say your painted wood's looking kind of dirty? Clean it with new Armor All Painted Wood Wash. Just spray it on, then rinse away the dirt and mold and mildew stains to make your paint look great again. New Armor All Painted Wood Wash.
There's no track in the world that's tougher on brakes than the one in Martinsville, Virginia. And when drivers take the green flag here, they all have one thing in common, the same brand of brakes. Because without them, you can't come down this straightaway at 120 miles an hour and still make it through the turn. So which brand do the top drivers use to get them through 500 laps at Martinsville? Performance Friction Carbon Metallic. And we stock them at AutoZone.
I'm the King Grill.
Oh, yeah?
Baby, you know who's boss. Give me a 2-inch thick T-bone with spicy, tangy, Heinz 57 steak sauce.
Oh, yeah, you're cooking now.
Let's eat.
The AC-Delco Challenge Series live on TNN is brought to you in part by Wynn Oil Company, makers of quality automotive car care products. Remember, when it's wins, it works. By your GM Goodwrench service dealer, we want your business. And by new Armor All Painted Wood Wash. Makes your dirty wood look great again. Welcome back to Lancaster Speedway, just outside of Buffalo, New York. There's a good look at the Gentle Giant, the number 9. That is Dennis Lampman. Alongside of him, Bill Baird, the number 26, out of Sturgis, Kentucky. Just picked up a new nickname. We'll tell you about that a little later on. Now let's take a look at the grid for the Pontiac Excitement 300, ASA's first visit to this speedway. Gary St. Amand and Scott Hansen making up row 1. Should be an interesting first turn.
In row 2, again, the all top 5 qualifiers get points towards the championship. Mike Miller gained some valuable points along with leading rookie driver Kevin Sawinski in the Brown & Sharp Chevrolet.
Make our way back to row number 3. Joe Knott still waiting for that first ever win, and Mike Garvey once again gets to turn behind the wheel of St. Louis Gear Coors Light, number 23.
We saw a glimpse of him earlier. Starting 7th will be the Super America driver, Ted Smokestad out of Minnesota, and ASA's winningest driver, Bob Seneker, who's won 3 of the last 5 events.
What a terror he has been on lately. 7-time champ Mike Eddy will start the GM Goodwrench Service Pontiac on the inside of row number 5 in the Odessa number 8 of Carl Muscat right alongside of him in a Chevrolet.
Starting off 11th will be Tony Roper looking for another top 10 run today, and Busch interlude driver Glenn Allen Jr. back in ASA for this race.
In row number 7, Tony Raines in the Howie Lettow prepared Pontiac, and the Zero Hero, Tom Jones, who usually seems to have his best races when we're competing with ASA in the Northeast, getting his 1 win down the road in Jennerstown, Pennsylvania.
Buddy Schrock, it's a great story. He's here this weekend. Hopefully we'll see him more this season. It depends on how he finishes today in car number 35 for Team Unidial. Outside of him, the Wonder Bar, Florida, Brett Bell.
Back into row 9, Brad Loney out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Had a bad qualifying effort, but he thinks he's got it figured out for the race. And, of course, the Gentle Giant, Dennis Lampman, right alongside in his number 9.
Row 10, filled by Sturgis, Kentucky driver Bill Baird and Dave Sensible. Way back in 20th, but only 3/10 behind the pole-winning speed.
And in row 11, Harold Farron. Right alongside of him is Rick Miller, who skipped the last race. Good to have him back on the tour.
Moving to row 12 now, Jack Landis, second in rookie points, and Dr. Yale Conley in the Simonton Windows Chevrolet team car to Glen Allen Jr. goes off outside row 12.
Back into row 13, Brandon Sperling has been having a real fast race car lately, but keeping the car in the race with mechanical problems biting him lately has been the problem. Dennis Berry, a team in the number 5, is looking to get their program back on winning ways.
New crew chief today as well. Bob Dorstwitz will start inside row 14, and Alec Pinsonneau of Windsor, Ontario. Probably the shortest drive here. He'll start outside row 14.
And rounding out the field in row 15, Dave Anspaugh in the number 37 Pontiac, the racing school teacher. Actually, school principal.
Yep, Sturgis Middle School, right on the side of this race car as well.
Track description here at this facility is it's a half mile, but boy, it's a little bit of everything, isn't it?
There's a drag strip on the front stretch, so the front stretch is absolutely flat, so there's transition banking into turn 1 and off of turn 4.
Let's go down to Dave Burns, who is in turn 1.
Well, Ralph, as you look beyond me into turn number 1, it's a very bumpy racing surface. The cars get into here extremely fast. If they don't ease their way through, it could be trouble. On the outside, if they do get in trouble, we've got foam barriers. The first track in the country to use them, there could be an explosion of white if someone hits the outside wall in turns 1 and 2.
And this is not the first time ASA has raced at a racetrack that has used foam barriers. In fact, at I-70 Speedway for a few years they did that, and we've tested those, and it looks like popcorn when it hits. Looks like snow coming out all over the place. Well, Pontiac Excitement 300 is about to get underway. Tight side-by-side racing as nobody has been able to really lock down a position yet, but Scott Hansen will get credited with leading the first lap, and that has a lot to do with the championship chase.
Bring up 5 points for Scott Hansen. It's 5 more points for the driver who leads the most laps in AC-Delco Challenge Series competition. Hansen definitely wants to start early by putting his thumbprint down the number 1 spot.
Hansen running a group higher than the rest of the field as they come off at turn 4. The preferred line is right down along the white line is what 90% of the field outside of Hansen seems to feel. Look at this fight between a pair of champions. Bob Seneca, the blue 84, and Mike Eddy, the black Goodwrench number 88.
Battle is for 8th. They said there's not too wide racing around this racetrack. These guys have raced with each other for so many years that they know they can race side by side against each other. But turn 1, they said it's impossible to go in there too wide and hold it. We're proving that wrong early on here at Lancaster.
Well, you saw some footage in our open of the show, which was Mike Eddy and the old green number 88 and Bob Seneca from back in 1990 at the Minnesota State Fair. These two have waged war at literally every track across America. They trust each other immensely, but they race as hard against each other as well against anybody else because they are heated rivals.
Mike Eddy settles into 8th position. Bob Seneca in 9th, right behind him, Carl Muscotten, the Cartwright Chevrolet. Great qualifying run again today for Muscotten out of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
If you love short track stock car racing, those two drivers are probably the best in the business when it comes to knowing the right setups and all the tricks in the book when it comes to racing stock cars on a short track.
See the various lines going into turn number 1. The front stretch is absolutely flat, but they're so wide that this is actually one continuous arc. If you can see that from our vantage point, they are constantly turning the wheel to the left as they exit turn 4. They're not done turning until they get to the back straightaway.
Ted Smokestad in the Super America number 32, fighting with Mike Garvey, the yellow 23. That is the battle for 6th. Right in front of them, Kevin Sawinski, the ARCO champ. Smokestad has really shown a lot of improvement this year. This is a team that is on the verge of fighting for a top 10 points position. Let's check in with Dave Burns.
Heading down here in turn number 1, you can see on the video that you're watching, there's a lot of accordion effect down here. The guys know that they need to roll the cars through here, but when the guy in front of you rolls his car in, you think you can get down there real hard and get underneath him. So there's a lot of guys stopping in front of each other and having kind of an accordion effect down here in turns 1 and 2.
Brakes are going to be a huge story here today as Mike Miller gets to the inside of Gary St. Amant to take away second position, and that was a very aggressive move.
The way he did it, though, is how it's going to have to be done today. Going into those turns, running extremely hard next to your fellow competitor, and Mike Miller very happily has told us that he signed on his two sponsors for the remainder of the year. CarCop, the global satellite theft device. They signed on for the year. CarCop did. They can find your car anywhere in the world. They also have a new sponsor on the car, and that'll be for the year. It's the AFC 1000 organic oil additive. Cuts down emissions quite a bit, so Mike Miller very happy to say he has enough funding to go through the season. And Marietta, Georgia-based team now running second behind our leader, Scott Hansen.
There's Joe Knott trying to get to the inside of Gary St. Amant. That is for third.
St. Amant started on the pole, but he is unable to hold his car down on the inside line. And through the turns, you can see his car drifts up, and they really got accordion there, Dave. That was an understatement a minute ago. They got stopped in turns 1 and 2.
A lot of smoke. Looked like maybe Joe Knott either got really hard on the brakes or might have bumped into Gary St. Amant just a hair.
It appears the saving grace for Gary St. Amant right now is if he has a loose car, it's very difficult to pass once you get single file racing here. Through turns 1 and 2, once that rubber gets laid down, if he does have a loose race car, he will be able to hold off his competitors and, of course, pray for a yellow to get that situation squared up.
Do you think it's safe to say that Gary St. Amant at this point is holding up the rest of the field?
What I'm saying is if his car continues to deteriorate, if he continues to not be able to hold that line, he has the advantage of a very narrow racetrack in 1 and 2, a racing line,
right,
to hold off Joe Knott. He's not had to do that yet, but it does not look like he's gaining on Mike Miller either.
But I think he might be holding up the rest of the field. I think everybody else behind him is a lot quicker than he is at this point in the race, and they're just having a difficult time getting around him. Now watch Mike Miller, the 18, as they come off at turn number 4. Watch that left front tire. See how the car really rolls over? See it picking up that left front tire? That is really going to be exaggerated here today.
Very flat racetrack, similar to Columbus, Ohio, a racetrack that's run early in the season each and every year in the AC-Delco Challenge Series. I recall Steve Holtzhausen qualifying at Columbus Motor Speedway with the left front all the way off the ground, almost the entire way around that tight third mile.
You can see the light coming up underneath that left front tire as Mike comes out of turn number 4 hard on the gas, and you can really come out of 4 hard on the gas because this is a drag strip on the front straightaway. A lot of NHRA tracks, as you watch the battle for 6 between Smokestad and Garvey, put down what they call VHT, which is a traction aiding device. It's a liquid that you spray out onto the track, and it really helps give the track surface a lot of traction. That VHT, as they come flying off at turn number 4, sticks that car right to the ground, and you can really get on the gas. And Joe Knott's trying to take advantage of it right here as he gets around Gary St. Amant to take third, and here comes Sawinski in the black and yellow number 1.
Sawinski comes in 8th in the points, but running with these veterans, he's learned to hold on. He said, now I have to learn how to finish these races as strongly as Bob Seneca and Mike Eddy. Right now he's putting the strong move on Gary St. Amant. He now takes over the 4th position. St. Amant trying to get back in line to keep Ted Smokestad behind him. Smokestad, the Super America Pontiac, they're really getting through turns 1 and 2 well. Mike Garvey lurching behind him from Sewanee, Georgia. Coors Light St. Louis Gear Chevrolet. Right close battle here. This is 5th on back.
There's Bob Seneca and Mike Eddy. They're battling for 8. Carl Miscott in the 8th, right behind them, sits in 10th. Tony Roper is up to 11th right now. Tony Raines runs along in 12th. Brad Maloney is 13th. Zero Hero Tom Jones is 14th, and Bill Baird having a good run. He's 15th. Glenn Allen Jr. is 16th. Buddy Schrock in 17th. Brett Bell, Dave Sensiba, and Rick Miller round out the top 20 at this point in the race. 22 laps down to the scheduled 300. Gary St. Amant did something really unusual with his car. It is a Ford Thunderbird that he is driving, but Gary is running what he calls a Chevy setup. Now the Chevy setup is softer than what you would do with the Ford. The reason for the Ford setup being heavier is because the engine is heavier. So they usually go a little stiffer on the front to balance out the weight. But Gary has switched to the what he calls a Chevy setup. Seems to think it'll work pretty good here at Lancaster today. The Pontiac Excitement 300. Well, Scott Hansen's not having any problems. He's got a half a second lead as he slides his way through 1 and 2. Stay with us.
This is the story of the man in black, and the Goodwrench team keeps his car on track.
You know their secret's consistency. It's all in the list. And if it takes all night, they'll get it done right. Turn to your GM Goodrich service team for consistency and attention to detail. Their tools, training, equipment, and genuine GM parts let you run with the winners. To build the perfect ride, use a checklist as your guide. And always keep the customer satisfied.
If I didn't see it, I wouldn't believe it.
If I wasn't here, I wouldn't have believed it.
I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it.
These people just witnessed an amazing demonstration. We put this Duraloop treated engine through the ultimate torture test. We drained all the oil, all the water, then flooded it with a fire hose. It kept on running because Duraloop protects your engine like no other product can.
I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it myself.
Now let Duraloop make a believer out of you. Duraloop, peace of mind in a bottle.
We're here to tell you about AbWorks from Nordic Track, the advanced abdominal exerciser. AbWorks is fun, it's new, and it's hot. Get AbWorks for a smoking new waistline. AbWorks by Nordic Track.
With AbWorks, you can effectively work your abs with complete neck and back support.
Look better. Sculpt the abs of your dreams. The ultimate ab machine is here. AbWorks by Nordic Track. Work upper, lower, and side abdominals with complete support for the head, neck, and spine for a safe workout. Tone your entire waistline in just 5 minutes a day. Get it for $119.95 or 4 easy payments of $29.95.
Call now to order and get this free workout video with complete instructions for 15 AbWorks exercises, plus my 20-minute aerobic workout. That's everything you need.
Call now to order the complete AbWorks system for $119.95 or 4 easy payments of $29.95. Get your AbWorks today.
Welcome back to TNM Motorsports live coverage of the ASA Series, running the Pontiac Excitement 300 from Lancaster Speedway. And the last time Mike Miller got a win in ASA racing, the race was called the Pontiac Excitement 300. It took place at I-70 Speedway earlier this year. He's leading here once again in the Pontiac Excitement 300, and here's how he did it.
Scott Hansen going into turn number 1. You can see he was a little wide, and Mike Miller's been working that car so well on the bottom. Off of turn number 2, Hansen makes room. There goes Mike Miller for the lead.
Did you see how the two cars went through the turns differently? Hansen's car went through the turn very flat. Mike's car goes through with all that weight over on the right front. Now, a lot of the crew chiefs were telling me earlier today that ASA cars, because they have a narrow tread width and they have a high center of gravity, need to get some body roll in there. You need to roll that body over on the chassis. Here's the battle for 11. That's the 8 machine of Carl Muscotten and the 33 of Brad Loney.
Loney has moved up from 17th position now. Great run for Loney in the 33.
And Muscotten trying to keep Tony Raines from getting inside as well in the 87. Let's check in with Dave Burns.
Ralph, I just spoke with Dave Taylor, who's the crew chief for Carl Muscotten. I asked him if he was getting into one too hard and using up the brakes. He said that's not our problem. The car is very loose. So they're just trying to hold back a little bit right now. They'll need a pit stop soon.
To finish off on this body roll thing, Jim, the cars that go through the turns flat tend to chatter across the racetrack over the bumps. They skate along. The cars like Mike Miller's that have a little bit of body roll are able to hook into the pavement and get a good drive off the turn. Let's check in once again with Dave Burns.
Ralph Gary has moved back just a bit from his pole position, but they don't have a loose or a tight problem right now. They are conserving brakes. They're trying to use race strategy and conserve brakes early on because they think they're going to need them big time later on.
3 poles, 1 race win at Columbus. Gary St. Amant in the best position he's ever been in to win an ASA championship. And Joe Knott still looking for his first win. Gets the pass on Scott Hansen. That puts Joe and the Valvoline Ravy Ford up into second. So a good battle amongst the manufacturers up front. A Pontiac leading a Ford over a Chevy. And that's just the way the point standings for the manufacturers is just as competitive as the driver standings.
Very tight. We documented last race that Ford and Pontiac are deadlocked at 20 points apiece, and Chevy's right behind him with, I believe, 14. So it's very, very tight up front. Looking at Joe Knott, he's working better through the corners as Scott Hansen continues to slide around this big half mile near Buffalo, New York. Kevin Sawinski now will close in on this trio of leaders. He runs 4th. He just got by Alec Pinson. There's the Coleman Racing Products #1.
Here's the battle for 6th, and it is Bob Seneker and Mike Eddy coming in tow with him that are coming up through the pack. Remember, those two were battling for 10th and 9th position not too long ago. Now they're passing Ted Smokestad in the Super America car as they fight for 6th.
And they're passing him on the outside.
Never thought we'd see that, did you?
Didn't think so. But on this front straightaway, you have position as they come off right here. You see this yellow line down the middle of the straightaway. If you can keep your competitor below that yellow line, as Mike Eddy's done, it makes it harder for Ted Smokestad in this instance to turn the left-hander. Eddy has more corner speed, thus he gets the pass.
Well, remember, that is the lane line that separates the 2 lanes for the drag strip here. We actually run in reverse direction up the 8-mile drag strip here. And look at this. Joe Knott takes the lead away from Mike Miller.
For not being here, not testing, they switched motors in the Valvoline Ford, did the Joe Knott crew.
Dave Anspaugh brings the number 37 Sturgis Middle School entry down pit road, and we've got a new leader, Gary St. Amont's wife and crew, hoping their guy can get to the front.
I own an auto repair center, and when it comes to helping people make good decisions about their cars, I recommend All Pro and bumper-to-bumper auto parts. Look, cars don't break down on schedule. When I need quality parts, All Pro and bumper-to-bumper come through with expert service, a great selection, competitive prices, and convenient hours. I depend on All Pro and bumper-to-bumper because my customers depend on me. So when you need an auto parts specialist, whether it's in my garage or yours, shop where I shop. All Pro and bumper-to-bumper auto parts.
The Pontiac Firebird waits. 305 horsepower comes to life. Ram air induction turns air into fuel in a rush. Firebird, you're ready to fly.
Big developments here at the Pontiac Excitement 300, both Glenn Allen Jr. and Scott Hansen, the point leader, diving down pit road. What's up, Dave Burns?
Ralph, Scott Hansen is not underpowered. He coasts very quietly into his pit stall here. The Metro Milwaukee Auto Auction hood going up on the car. They dive in right away, and unfortunately, does not look good for Scott. They were chatting on the radio. It seemed to be going, and then Scott simply shut it down and came into the pits. You can see they're going to all sides of the car, and the motor is dead. It's quiet here in Scott Hansen's pit.
I bet it's not quiet on those radios. Scott came into this race with a 47-point lead on Gary St. Amant. He led the first lap, which gave him 5 points more with 52. But boy, if he is out of this one, that is going to absolutely hurt him. Now, the guy who is leading NASCAR's Busch Grand National Rookie Points chase is Glenn Allen Jr., who is teamed up with Yale Connolly here in the Simonton Windows number 99. You can see Glenny has climbed out of the car, talking to his crew, including his father, Glenn Allen Sr. there, the man in the white shirt. So unfortunately, Glenn's return back to ASA Racing here at Buffalo not going as well as he would like. Battle for second really heating up. Kevin Sawinski making moves on the backside of Mike Miller to the inside.
As good as Mike Miller's car was working on the bottom, that's exactly where Kevin Sawinski makes the pass on the Pontiac driver. So now Sawinski, Wisconsin, runs into second. Sawinski's concern, however, is still being able to finish as strongly as he runs in the middle portion of the race. Great run at La Crosse last weekend, but Bob Seneca and Mike Eddy both powered past him rather handily late in the event. He was rather puzzled by that, but he said, I know I need to finish better like those guys do. He ended up 6th on the day a week ago.
There he is, Bob Seneca, the Bluebird, the sneaker. Call him what you want, but the one thing you can definitely call him is ASA's winningest driver. The man has 82 victories. And as you pointed out earlier on in the show, he has really been on a tear the last few weeks. Doing a classic Bob Seneca win last week at La Crosse, Wisconsin, starting deeper in the field than he would have liked. Methodically working his way through. Fought through big brake problems, something that would have put most drivers out of the race. Not a problem for Bob. They just tied off the valves and off he went racing. And now look at him here. He's going to take third on the outside.
Wow. He is moving. That Lane Automotive JR Automation Ford is hooked up. You see him. He gets right around Mike Miller, sticks it back to the bottom. He's got his sights set on Kevin Sawinski. He wants second.
Well, Dave, have you had a chance to talk to Hansen's crew?
Well, I talked to Scott himself, and Scott said the track is so rough that the distributor wire snapped off, one of the distributor wires snapped off right at the distributor. They're trying to replace it now.
We got a spin on the front straightaway. Rick Miller gets together with Alec Pinsino coming off of turn number 4. And that will bring out the first yellow here at the Pontiac Excitement 300.
Rick Miller, the Arsenberger Trucking Power Flow Chevrolet, goes around after contact with the Trim Class 2000 Pontiac of Alec Pinsino. There's Rick Miller. There you see Alex trying to get his car righted. A break for Gary St. Amant, who drifted all the way back to 8th. We'll see if he decides to pit the wins forward.
Man, that's a tough break for Rick Miller, debuting a brand new sponsor like that.
He's on a race-to-race deal. He'll have extra tone back in the car, but he definitely wanted to say thanks to Arsenberger Trucking for getting him to this race.
Well, we'll straighten him up, line him back up, get set to go back to green, and we'll bring you all up to speed on him when we return.
There's no track in the world that's tougher on brakes than the one in Martinsville, Virginia. And when drivers take the green flag here, they all have one thing in common: the same brand of brakes. Because without them, you can't come down this straightaway at 120 miles an hour and still make it through the turn. So which brand do the top drivers use to get them through 500 laps at Martinsville? Performance Friction Carbon Metallic. And we stock them at AutoZone.
Everything you've ever read or anybody's ever said about Darlington is true and then some. Things happen quick. Trouble happens quick. You know, it's a tough racetrack to race on. You look at the wall and see all the tire marks, see all the places people's made mistakes. You have to drive it to understand how tough it is and what they mean when they say too tough to tame.
Busch Beer is proud to bring you the great tracks of NASCAR, now featuring the Darlington Raceway.
You're on the edge all the time here. I mean on the edge.
Get your Red Hots, Cracker Jacks, Fruit Beer, because we're taking you out to the ball game with your absolute favorite country stars. It's the wacky Wrangler City of Hope Celebrity Softball Challenge 96, Wednesday at 8 on TNN.
The following programming is brought to you by Prime Star. Turn on to adventure. Turn on to excitement. Turn on to romance. Turn on to an American original. Turn on to country. Turn on to CMT.
Saturday opening night on Stars in August. Patrick Swayze, Wesley Snipes, and John Leguizamo are strutting their way to a different kind of stardom. To Wong Fu, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. Christopher Lambert sets the stage for the ultimate battle, Mortal Kombat. And Tommy Chong and Matt Frewer star in National Lampoon's Senior Trip. Stars, a better movie channel.
We're back to Lancaster Speedway, which was built back in 1959. It was dirt for 2 years before becoming an asphalt facility. And we are under our first yellow of the day. Brad Loney in the number 33, there you see him, has been diving in and out of pit road. He has apparently got a problem with the engine on the Bun Saver Flex Steel H&W number 33.
Bad break for Brad. He moved up into the 9th position prior to this caution. He started 17th on the day and made the pass. Now his crew just tells him to keep on going as we have 1 to green.
Here's a look at the replay of what started this.
Car on the very outside, in the middle of your picture, the black 93 is Alec Pinsino. See,
Jack Landis apparently got loose, and I think Alec jumped on the brakes because of it.
Checked up on it. Went right in front of Rick Miller. Rick Miller has front end damage. They kind of did a pirouette there, a synchronized swimming move. They both spun almost 360 degrees, and Rick Miller facing the crowd.
And we go back to green. All of the leaders stayed out on the track, so you're looking at your top 4 right there. Joe Knott, Kevin Sawinski, Bob Seneker, Mike Miller, Mike Eddy, Mike Garvey, and Gary St. Amant. Your top 7, and we got another spin over in turn number 1. It is Bill Baird in the 26, and Dave Anspaugh in the 37. And they stayed off the phone.
Very tight quarters on the restart. Bob Dorstwitz got into Brett Bell on this restart when Alec Pinsino rejoined the racetrack off of turn number 4. That bunched things up, and then as they went into turn number 1, you can see the Pontiac there of Anspaugh spun. He's got some white walls on the left side there. He might have gotten some contact in the infield as he went around.
Glenn Allen Jr., by the way, has returned to the racetrack with the hood off of the car, so whatever was wrong with the motor, they have fixed it enough to get him back out.
Scott Hansen also returned to the racetrack. I believe he lost 19 laps. Hansen back on the racetrack as the point leader.
Scoring right now shows Hansen having completed quite a few laps less than the leaders. It says that he has completed 47 laps. Leaders working lap 64. Let's go back to Dave Burns.
This early in the race, pitting can be a good news, bad news scenario. Bill Baird came in on that first yellow flag caution period, and the car was too tight, so they increased the stagger a little bit to loosen him up. And the unfortunate thing is that put him at the back of the pack, and he got involved in that spin with Dave Anspaugh. So the car was probably better, but Bill got in trouble early on.
Bill's got a new nickname. It's written on the car just over the door, and between his first and last name is the word in red letters, Kramer. Just like the Jerry Seinfeld
I heard
show.
he has a great entrance into the room.
That's what it's all based on. They say when Bill walks into the room, he does it in classic Kramer style. And Brad Loney back in and out of the pits as they bring that car back down pit road once again. Dennis Lampman in pit road as well, but the rest of the leaders still circulating around the racetrack. Joe Knotts out in front.
Now released on video. A distant outpost on the edge of the galaxy. The darkest reaches of human existence. Star Trek Deep Space Nine. The exclusive collector's edition. Now this Emmy Award-winning series is yours to collect with Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the collector's edition. Begin your collection with Emissary, the 2-hour series premiere. Yours for only $4.95 with subscription. Rediscover why the Federation took the role as reluctant mediators near the war-torn planet Bajor. Rediscover why Emissary was the highest-rated syndicated series premiere in television history. Star Trek Deep Space Nine continues the legacy of the visionary Gene Roddenberry. TV Guide proclaimed the best Trek of them all. Collector's quality videos produced from Paramount's masters. Now you can own Star Trek Deep Space Nine episodes with this special collector's edition. Each video comes in exclusive collector's packaging featuring plot summaries, behind-the-scenes facts, and series photos. Start your collection with a 2-hour premiere, Emissary. Yours for only $4.95 with subscription. Deep Space Nine is richly imagined, with good scripts and great visuals. People Magazine. Encounter the villains that threaten the existence of the Federation and unravel the unknown as a wormhole thrusts you 70,000 light years away. Collector's edition is not available anywhere else. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the collector's edition, is available only through this exclusive offer. So travel to the far corners of the galaxy and experience Deep Space Nine as you never have before.
To get your introductory 2-hour video of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the collector's edition, for only $4.95 plus $3.59 shipping and handling, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-357-1584. That's 1-800-357-1584. Credit card orders only, please. Call now.
We're back to green flag racing, and Kevin Sawinski tries the outside of Joe Knott to see if he can take the lead as we go back to green on lap 69. He's got him. Can't hold it, though. And here comes Bob Seneker on the bottom. Seneker's going to take second away from Sawinski's aggressive attempt to take the lead. And Mike Eddy is glued to the backside of Bob Seneker. And Mike Miller's got problems in the 18. Oh, what a shame for him. That car was so strong early on, and now Mike Miller is dead last.
Report is a flat right front on that Pontiac.
So Mike Miller's got to dive down pit road, and that is exactly where he's headed. Meanwhile, a ferocious fight up front.
On the restart, Joe Knott was extremely slow. Kevin Sawinski was all over his backside. I thought initially that Joe Knott may have had a problem 2 laps ago. He just had a real slow, deliberate start. Sawinski climbed down the backside and wasn't able to pass him and nearly lost second.
Let's go to Dave Burns, who's in Mike Miller's pit.
Yeah, they're going to that right side. They've got the right side up right now. Mike Miller is flipping the engine, waiting, still waiting, having a little trouble with the right rear. Now they're down and away. Interesting story on that. Their right rear tire changer today, gentlemen, is Jim Daly, former crew chief for the Dennis Berry car. They had a parting of the waters yesterday afternoon, and Jim Daly said, Mike, I'm going to come down and help you on the pit crew. Mike said, that's great. We're good friends. You're a veteran. Cruz, they may have been a little bit rusty on that pit stop, though, but Mike is out.
It looked like they were having some problems with that right rear. And I'm not so sure they even got all the lugs tight on there. It looked like Mike pulled away pretty quick.
Lost 2 laps in the process, so they'll have a lot to catch up. He still has that car working well on the bottom. Fresh right side rubber should make him get back through this field rather quickly. He has 2 laps to catch the leaders and get back up front.
Mike right now is credited with 25th position. And actually, on the scoring monitor, it says he's 3 laps down, but I think now it changes to 2 laps.
He got out of shape that time. The leaders came by. His problems are not over as Joe Knott narrowly gets by him entering turn number 1.
Now he's 3 laps.
Yep. Seneca is in second, Eddie is in third, and Sawinski's in fourth. None of those drivers pitted. Sawinski did have those 2 veterans pass him on the racetrack prior to our second caution of the afternoon. 76 laps are in, and Mike Miller's got a long way to go. I mentioned he's 3 laps down. He has to get back on lead lap.
And look at this fight back here between the yellow 23 and the black 10. That's Mike Garvey and Tony Roper. And Tony Roper giving it a good run again this year. In that number 10, the Child's Tire Monte Carlo. Tony has been in the thick of quite a few fights this year, but he has not been around at the end of the race, and maybe today might be a good day for him to get a top 5.
Tony said he's had some help from ATI and Felpro that have really made a difference for that Missouri-based team, and his dad and John Childs were sitting under the canopy earlier today musing things over and how well the things are running.
Dave, you got more on the Tony Roper story.
You may have noticed at the beginning of the race, Tony sat on the grid for quite a while after everyone else was started. We thought maybe there was a mechanical problem, maybe a radio problem. They had simply flooded the car, so there shouldn't be any continuing problems for Tony Roper.
Coming up a 10th place finish at La Crosse and an 8th at Jennerstown. Looking for another top 10 run.
Seneca and Mike Miller gets one of those laps back. He is back to 2 laps down now as he gets back around Joe Knott. Let's take a look at that pit stop again for Mike Miller. And let's see. Now watch Jim Daly on the left there. Does he get all the lugs on? I don't think so. I think he missed one.
He might have been reaching down to put it back on.
I think he was trying to put it back down, and Jack, our cameraman down there, got a great shot of Daly trying to get it all. And I think Jim missed one. So that means that Mike Miller is missing a lug, and that is not necessarily the worst thing that can happen for you. However, if your crew is having little problems like that under pit stop situations, this is a team that has made up a lot of ground earlier this season on pit stops. They really prided themselves on that. If they're going to have a problem with that today, that could cost them some positions. And obviously on a track like this today, track position is going to be a big point.
And position in the points, he's only 37 points behind Tony Raines. Mike Miller came in this race 7th in points, Raines 3rd in points. So it's very, very critical as Raines runs 10th in this race to improve and finish where you can. He finished top 10 a week ago and maintained his 7th place in the point standings, did Mike Miller.
Boy, that top group of cars is nose to tail all the way back to 9th position, which is Harold Fair at this point. The top 9 cars running in a freight train around this half mile here at Lancaster Speedway. And there is Tony Raines, who is currently running in 10th, trying to catch this pack, Dave.
Raines is moving back through. The bleeder valve earlier was stuck on the 87 car on the right rear tire. That caused the tire to grow abnormally, making him extremely loose. The bleeder valve was actually stuck closed, and they've written on the tire to fix bleeder on the right rear tire. The tire's still good, the rim's still good, but they've written a note to themselves, make sure to fix that bleeder.
They started the race on the tires they qualified on, so they only had 2 or 3 laps on them, and they checked out okay prior to the race for tire specialist Mike Hoskins. So,
well, you can see that left front really dancing around on Raines' car, bouncing over the bumps as he came through 3 and 4. There goes the lead pack that he's trying to chase, including the Zero Hero of Tom Jones, right behind Ted Smokestack's Super America car. There's Jonesy. Jonesy having a pretty good run. That ballast-packed entry, the Zero, and we are seeing some great racing all over the place here with these guys. As
Mike Eddy and Bob Seneca have forged their way to the front in heavy traffic. Joe Knott back to 3rd now.
And Eddy got around Seneca in the process. Brett Bell has problems. You're going to see him trying to make his way to the pits. There he is on the outside as the leaders go by him. Now look at Eddie slide to the outside as he tries to deal with Alec Pinsino, and that's going to help Bob out.
Wow.
There goes Seneker. So again, we change the lead, and here comes Joey Knott now.
Knott had a thought of going between the two black Pontiacs, Pinsino's and Eddie's, but stayed behind Pinsino. Now he's going to pay the price.
And Eddie uses Alec like a pick and sticks Joe right behind him. And now that is going to hold up the leaders as they all have to go to the outside to get around him. And Eddie and Seneker are starting to pull away from that lead group because they reel him back in.
Saw Brett Bell slow off the paces. Right front is now off the race car. The wheel has peeled away from the, the tire has peeled away from the rim as he slid down pit lane here. Showers of sparks are coming up from underneath. Now he's back in the attention of his crew.
That's not good.
No, sir.
There's Mike Garvey. And Knott and Sawinski are credited with 3rd and 4th. Let's take a look at Mike getting loose again. See, he goes to the outside there.
And so does Alec Pinsino. Left him high and dry there. Joe Knott again, and then as soon as that was over, as they went into turns 3 and 4, Eddie got this position back.
Problems for Garvey. Look how that car's sliding around as he loses a few spots.
Dirt track in the Coors Light Chevrolet. He got back in line, but he did pull way up in turns 3 and 4. It could be that brake problem that may be heating up. Again, this is a very flat racetrack. These guys are hard on the brakes to get corner speeds off. Got to get in and get settled.
It's a fight for 9th. Buddy Schrock in the 35 dives down pit road.
Mike Garvey and Rick Beebe sharing seat time in this Dan Hodges owned Chevrolet. Based out of Keokuk, Iowa.
It's got to be just about time for Rick to get another shot, isn't it?
Yep, he's coming back to Berlin Raceway.
Which is our next week's race in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The ASA Tour.
The great thing about having these two drivers, it's like having two A teams. You don't have a second string when you have Mike Garvey and Rick Beebe as your two drivers.
I would really love to see this become a two-car team and get both those guys out here at the same time. So the battle for 9th continues with a couple of the young Chargers, but up front is the veterans. Bob Seneker going for his 4th win on the 1996 AC-Delco Challenge Series Tour. And look at Bob get loose coming off a 4, and here goes Eddie to the front.
That's how quick things will change. These veterans know each other. As soon as he saw Seneker's number, I bet you Eddie was on the gas pedal route coming off of turn 4.
Well, we have changed the lead a good half dozen times already here today at Lancaster Speedway. The way this thing is going, I got a funny feeling we're going to see it again. And Bob now loses another spot to Joe Knott. Keep an eye on that Ford and Bob Seneker, who really had brake problems at the last race of lacrosse, but he fought his way through that to get the win. Bob's a very patient, very methodical driver. Nothing really rattles him. If he's got a problem right now, that doesn't mean you can count him out, as we saw last week. That is for sure. No matter how far down you think he is, he still has a chance.
In a lap and a half, Mike Eddie will complete lap 100, 1/3 of the way through this Pontiac Excitement 300. No better way to lead a bunch of laps in a Pontiac sponsored race.
Tom Jones in the number 0, battling for 6th with Ted Smokestad. Smokestad's in the 32 as they put a lap on Yale Connolly in the number 3. Yale is currently running in 19th, a lap down. Buddy Schrock is in the 35. Buddy's running 24th. He's 4 laps down.
Buddy Schrock in the Team Unidial Chevrolet sold his 1977 Porsche to get to this racetrack. He said, I needed the money. I know I could have sold my car and probably done something else with it, but I want to go racing that bad. He and his brother Don put the money that he sold the Porsche for into this car to pay the tire bill, the hotel bill, to get this car on the racetrack. And he also said, what a great way to celebrate my 40th birthday today at this racetrack, racing with these ASA guys. Buddy Schrock running race to race, literally out of pocket. Short on cash, had to sell his own Porsche, kind of like Scott Harrington did at Indy, Ralph, where he sold everything he had, really, to get in the field. That's how important it is to Buddy Schrock to run the series.
We're seeing a lot of cars getting very loose coming off of turn 4 as we go back up to the front where Mike Eddie is leading Joe Knott as they once again go around the outside of Alec Pinsino. So the crews watch and wait to see if their driver can catch Mike Eddie. Stay with us.
If you settle for a remanufactured engine without a brand name, be sure you've got a pair of name brand shoes. AC-Delco engines, the national brand name with the nationwide warranty. Call for a location near you. Of course, if you come in on foot, we'll understand.
Presenting Armor All Vinyl Siding Wash. Just spray it on, wait 5 minutes, then rinse it off with a hose. And look, why, it's the greatest invention since vinyl siding. Armor All Vinyl Siding Wash.
You should come work out with us, guys.
I'd love to work out with you guys, Barbara.
Because, I really miss the extra energy I get after a good workout, but I just don't
have the time to get to the gym anymore, let alone do separate toning and aerobic workouts.
Introducing the latest home exercise breakthrough from Nordic Track, the CTX 4000. Call now for the free video information kit and learn how the CTX 4000 gives you stretching for greater flexibility, aerobic training for improved cardiovascular fitness, and muscle toning and conditioning with pulling exercises like popular riders and pressing exercises as well. Plus, unique overhead moves you just can't do on other machines. A CTX 4000 can be yours for as low as $29.95 a month, and our 30-day in-home trial guarantees your complete satisfaction.
Best of all, I can't outgrow my CTX 4000.
It's got 10 adjustable resistance settings that keep challenging me as my fitness level improves.
Call now for your free video information kit. Then get in the best shape of your life on the CTX 4000, new from Nordic Track.
I'm the king grill.
Oh, yeah?
Baby, you know who's boss. Give me a 2-inch thick T-bone with spicy, hanging, Heinz 57 steak sauce.
Yeah, you're cooking now.
Let's eat.
Join the Winston Cup Stars December 9th through 13th on TNN's second annual NASCAR Family Cruise, benefiting the Winston Cup Racing Wives Auxiliary. Enjoy the fun of the Caribbean on the Big Red Boat, the Starship Oceanic. There'll be NASCAR festivities and activities, plus stops in the Bahamas. It's 4 nights of non-stop food, fun, and high seas hospitality. You'll party with top NASCAR drivers.
Everybody's enjoyed this. It was a big hit.
Call now for 5 days on America's #1 family cruise. Special rates for kids. Don't miss the boat, the Big Red Boat, December 9th.
We're back to racing here at Lancaster Speedway, and there are problems developing actually out on the racetrack as Mike Eddy comes storming down the back straightaway. You'll notice as he goes into turn 3, right in there, the racetrack is starting to come apart a little bit. Dave Burns, that could be a big problem as this race moves on.
Ralph, this is not one of these
problems in turn 4, Dave. I'm sorry. Dr. Yale Conley has looped the Simonton windows number 3, and that's going to bring out the yellow. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, it's not one of these problems where it's a new paving job that was done poorly. This is an old racetrack, seen a lot of years on it, and the weight of the ASA cars, they usually run light modifieds here, may have something to do with it. But the big problem, of course, is that it's tearing up parts of the track. Those chunks can become little razors on these bias ply tires, and even the best Goodyear Eagle can't stand up to that, guys. And they're going to be really hoping that throughout today they will have the luck to not have a tire go down. Everyone's concerned about it. All the drivers know the track's coming apart.
All right, Dave, thank you. The Goodyear tire people bringing soft compound tires with them, running the softest tire they have on the left and the middle soft tire on the right. 3s and the 2s for those of you that know your Goodyear Eagle bias ply tires. Stay with us. We're coming back. Mike Eddy still out front.
If I didn't see it, I wouldn't believe it.
If I wasn't here, I wouldn't have believed it.
I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it.
These people just witnessed an amazing demonstration. We put this Duraloop treated engine through the ultimate torture test. We drained all the oil, all the water, then flooded it with a fire hose. It kept on running because Duraloop protects your engine like no other product can.
I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it myself.
Now let Duraloop make a believer out of you. Duraloop, peace of mind in a bottle.
Legends. Prestige. 30 years of intense rivalry. Ford's Mustang. Chevy's Camaro. This one's for pride. TNN Motorsports presents the SCCA Trans Am Series. The Serengeti Eyewear Trans Am live Saturday, 1 p.m., noon Central on TNN Motorsports.
Well, we talked about not getting all your lug nuts on right on the tires, and there's a problem. One of the tires getting loose out of pit road.
I think Kevin Sawinski's pit, which is at the very end of the short oval, the tire got punted out there by Tom Jones, who had to come all the way down around this small oval to get back out on the racetrack. So the tire was in his way as he encountered turns 1 and 2, and that is Kevin Sawinski's tire sitting out there. He got punted or aided, shall we say, by Tom Jones, who then went straight in the grass and almost went up back on the racetrack. So maybe it was good for Jonesy to hit that tire, because the drivers were instructed they must complete a lap around this small oval to go past the pit lane.
Well, and that could be a real problem for Jones because of those fiberglass bodies, but it looks like he's okay. Don't forget, immediately following our broadcast, stay tuned for the best of Shade Tree Mechanic. Dave Bowman and the gang bringing you that, followed by Motor Trend Television. And, of course, my good buddy Steve Evans coming up later on with NHRA Today with the latest in Nitro. Stay with us. That's all coming up next after the Pontiac Excitement 300 here on the Nashville Network.
We talked about Tom Jones. He advanced from 14th to 6th prior to that little encounter with that tire. And I've just been told the leader now is the Saturn Machine Chevrolet of Bill Baird. That's the first lap he's ever led in ASA.
And Kramer is smiling, you can be sure of that. Watch Yale Conley in the 3 at the top of your screen. He just loses it, and that's becoming a very slippery portion of the racetrack. 3 and 4, we thought 1 and 2 was going to be the tricky spot. 3, you got racetrack coming up, and 4, you got a slippery racetrack.
And you can see the transition there. They actually come down to meet the flat part of the drag strip, and at that point, the track is almost off camber to the right-hand side. So when Yale Conley got on the gas pedal in the outside lane, his right side of the car was leaning more to the right-hand side. So as the car was off camber, gets on the gas after unloading the car or making sure the weight goes all the way to the back, got on the gas pedal a little bit too quick there.
Some of the Lancaster Speedway track crew is out over in the turn 3 area now. They're going to take a look at it and see if they can sweep some of those marbles that have been kicked up off of the racing crew. Let's check back in with Dave Burns, who has a little more on this story. Dave?
Here's just an idea of some of the asphalt that's coming up off the track. They're trying to scrape out Bob Sineker's rims here with a screwdriver, and you can see they've already gotten a good amount out of here. It's pretty grimy out there, guys. It continues to come up.
Now, that also causes a weight problem with those tires. That'll throw the balance off the car, and your setup will not work properly according to what you think it's going to do because of the extra weight thrown inside the inside of those tires.
It's like adding a wheel weight with up to, 3-4 pounds on one portion of the wheel, not equally distributing it. You're right.
Kramer.
That's a great vibration.
Kramer is out front and leading an ASA race. And they're going nuts in Sturgis, Kentucky. Stay with us.
You like action? Do you crave excitement? Then listen up.
TNN Motorsports and Miller present the Win with the Driver Sweepstakes Year 2. We're bringing it back for repeat performance. Enter today and you can win a trip for 2 to one of these live Winston Cup races. You'll also get spending money, a complimentary team jacket, a tour of the Miller team's rig and pit, meet Rusty Wallace, and more.
Hey, cool.
And if Rusty wins the race, you get $5,000. If he finishes, you pocket a cool grand.
You feeling lucky?
To enter, send a postcard with your name, address, and phone number to this address.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your entries.
Get your entry in by August 16th, then watch race day on TNN August 25th to find out if you're going to the MBNA 500. Remember, if you don't win this time, your entry is eligible for the next drawing.
Enter now.
This sweepstakes is brought to you by Split Fire Spark Plugs and 104 Plus Octane Boost.
Coming up Monday on Primetime Country, guest host Gary Chapman returns with Jeff Carson. Primetime Country, Monday night at 9 Eastern on TNN.
Prime View is the channel to tune to when you want to find out what's playing on Prime Star. You can watch Prime View on Prime Star's Channel 56 and Channel 200. Prime View brings you highlights from upcoming shows that the whole family can watch together. You will find out about news programs that update you on the national scene. Get a sneak peek at the latest Hollywood hits premiering on Prime Cinema. Learn about Prime Star's sports packages that bring you more games featuring teams from around the country. Prime View also gives you important information about Prime Star's special features and services, like how to order Prime Cinema, favorite channel scan, and the parental lockout option. So find out what's new, what's exciting, and what's coming up next on Prime Star. Tune to Prime View, the channel to watch on Prime Star when you want to find out what to watch on Prime Star. Enjoy.
Don't just go to the race. Listen in. Experience it live with a complete scanner package from Racing Electronics. Hear race strategy.
Okay, those are stickers on there, Jeff.
Crucial pit stops.
All right, we can win this thing, guys.
All the key moments. Just ask DW.
If you ever go to one of these races, you ought to get you a scanner and just listen to the conversation. It is constant.
Get your scanner where the pros get theirs. For your free catalog, call Racing Electronics 1-800-272-7111.
We're under the third caution here at the Pontiac Excitement 300, brought to you by Heater Meals here at Lancaster Speedway. There's old Kramer. Bill Baird leading his first ever laps of ASA competition. Now, to show you what kind of a guy Bill Baird is, he loves his ASA racing, and he will not, for any stretch, miss an ASA race. So he is going to drive from Sturgis to Anderson, so he can be there. He is taking his plane and giving his plane to some friends who want to go to the Knoxville Nationals instead. He's promised them for years he'd take them to the Knoxville Nationals. He gave them the plane. He's going to drive his own car all the way to Anderson so he can make sure he goes to the ASA race. That's pretty good. Pretty neat. I told him, I said, hey, I'll tell you what, you drive your car to Anderson, give me and Tredo the plane, we'll fly to the Bahamas.
Exactly. And you might get your plane back. Maybe.
We're not above that. Back to green flag, and Bill Baird is leading an ASA race for the first time.
That's Brad Loney in second in the Bun Saver H&W Pontiac. He's mired back there behind Scott Hansen, who is 16 laps down.
Brandon Sperling is in the 15, just in front of Bill Baird. And that Ultra Wheels Eaglewood Construction number 15 right now is running at 18. Now 2 laps down.
They've added a new sponsor, Mike Rotel Inns, who hope to have 200 locations nationwide, have joined the team. They're on the hood this week.
Look at this pack. Boy, that's going to get wild as they get down to turn number 3. The racetrack's coming apart in 3, and it's slippery in 4, and we're going too wide through there. Mike Eddy, who sits in second, is 4.6 seconds back of Bill Baird, and there are 4 lap cars between the two of them. Bill Baird's going to lead a handful of laps here.
And Brad Loney, we mentioned, was second on the restart. He is stuck behind Alec Pinson on the inside line. He finally shakes him, but Brad Loney drops back to 7th. He's out of the picture. Mike Eddy's now second. Kevin Sawinski's third.
Tony Raines is 4th. Joe Knott is 5th. Bob Seneker has slipped back to 6th. Dave Sensup is 7th. Brad Loney is running along in 8th. Gary St. Amant, who started on the pole, is 7th right now. 5th, or 10th, I should say, is the number 5 of Dennis Berry. And then it's Smokestad, Garvey, Jack Landis, or actually Dennis Lampman down, listed in 9th. Or 13th, I should say, Carter.
Bill Baird, the Saturn Machine. Allen's Body Shop, number 26, is the race leader. Mike Eddy, Kevin Sawinski again doing battle. They're at least a straightaway behind here on this big half mile. They've got quite a distance to catch up here.
You know, they talk about buffalo chicken wings, which is a big thing, obviously, that was developed in this part of the region. The original restaurant that came up with the whole concept of buffalo wings, not too far from the Speedway, and a lot of the ASA competitors went by there. Mike Eddy should have moved in. Mike Eddy had 50 of the hottest chicken wings they produced in one sitting over there the other day. There's a gap back from Bill Baird to Mike Eddy as Mike continues to run along in car number 88.
The hottest.
50.
The hottest?
50 at one sitting.
Smelling the hottest that makes you cry.
Didn't share them with the crew. 50, all to Mike. That's pretty tough. That'll earn that polar bear nickname right there.
Iron Gut would be a
Iron Gut would be another. You're right. Exactly. Kevin Sawinski.
Iron Constitution, maybe. Make it patriotic.
Kevin Sawinski, the Arco champ, running along in 3rd. Here's Bill Baird. Let's show you that gap. Right now, it's listed at 4.08 seconds back.
Trouble in turn 1.
Trouble in turn 1. Bob Dorsowitz
and Alec Pinsono.
There's Alec.
Your Dorstwitz went through the infield. He's back on track, but he and Pinsino got together in the Build-A-Mold Pontiac. You see him going back around. Pinsino for the second time involved in an altercation today.
And a lot of Canadian fans here today as well. And Alec was hoping to do well in front of his fans, but having a tough time out here today. Well, Buddy Schrock has had problems in the 35 as well. Dave Burns has got more on that story.
You guys know how impressive Buddy Schrock has been in the 1996 season. Well, tomorrow, actually today, he turns 40 years old. This is not the way he wanted to celebrate his birthday. Buddy, what put you out this afternoon?
Well, early in the race, we were on the same speed as the leaders and just biding our time and had a rear tire go down on us and lost I think we lost 2 laps, finally came in under the green hoping for a caution, didn't come, and when you got a rear tire going flat, you use a lot of brake, and I don't know whether we blew a master cylinder or boiled the fluid or what, but on that caution, I went to get them pumped up to go, and they wouldn't pump up. And I said, with all this stuff on the track like it is now, ain't a time to be destroying a race car when you're 3 laps down.
Now, our leaders are coming into the pit, Buddy, but you did a lot of things to get the Unidial Chevrolet here this weekend. What kinds of things did you do to get it here?
Didn't decide till Wednesday we're going to come. Thought I'd buy myself a birthday present. We're just kind of going race to race, hoping our Unidial deal works out. And sold my Porsche early in the week that I had been hoping for a year to sell, and so we had a little bit of cash. Went and borrowed our U-Haul and loaded her up and come to the track.
Well, guys, and that U-Haul that Buddy Schrock used on the outside of it, you know how they have the state-to-state thing and tells you about the state that you rent the truck from? Well, this one has Tennessee on it, has a little guitar picker on there. Makes you think of TNN, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, Dave. I like the ones with Richard Petty on the side. Those are cool. U-Haul trucks, they got, different race cars. Like in Indiana, they have the Indy car. In North Carolina, they have Richard Petty's car in there. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
You okay, Ralph?
Been studying a lot of things, haven't you, there?
Observant is what I've been called.
Bob Dorsiewicz getting tires changed. There's Brendan Sperling, and here's a look at the crash.
Oops. Looks like Alec was almost all the way around before Dorstwitz came upon the scene.
The race with Scott and Connolly and little Glenn. And our leader.
And the leader, wow. No, they got together. It was not, it was definitely a 2-car incident.
That's right out of the grandstand, so that's the way it looked to the fans sitting on the outside of turn number 1. And Bill Baird continues to lead them here at Lancaster Speedway. All the leaders dove down pit road to put on left side tires, and we'll be back to see if that works when we come back to Lancaster.
This is the story of the man in black, and the Goodwrench team keeps his car on track. You know their secret's consistency. It's all in the list. And if it takes all night, they'll get it done right. Turn to your GM Goodwrench service team for consistency and attention to detail. Their tools, training, equipment, and genuine GM parts let you run with the winners. To build the perfect ride, use a checklist as your guide. And always keep the customer satisfied.
The hum of the saw, the wail of the drill, the rhythm of the plane. If you love the music of woodworking, listen to this free TV offer. It's 101 shop tips, packed with secrets from the pros like a jig for routing evenly spaced dados, straightening uneven edges. You'll get 101 time-saving tips, and you get it free when you order cabinet making for just $9.99. Packed with hundreds of full-color photos and illustrations, cabinet making shows you how to master every cabinetry technique and get picture-perfect results. Preview future volumes from The Art of Woodworking with no commitment to buy. Use your credit card and get this video, Shop Secrets from Master Craftsman, free. So call now to order cabinet making for just $9.99 and get 101 shop tips free. Use your credit card and get your free Shop Secrets video. Call now.
To order, call 1-800-895-9922. Ask for cabinet making for just $9.99 plus $3.95 shipping and handling and receive your free 101 shop tips. Call now.
Think about it. We depend on our vehicles, yet most people know surprisingly little about car care. Well, get ready for Road Ready, the show that'll help you ensure your vehicle gets the kind of care and attention it needs. Join Mike Anson and Tricia Hessinger to see just how easy it is to tackle routine maintenance and small repairs. And be confident the job's done right. So get ready. Road Ready. Tonight, 11:30 p.m., 10:30 Central on TNN Motorsports.
We have just gone back to Green Flag Racing. Bill Baird in the center, number 26 Chevy Monte Carlo is your leader. Mike Miller right behind him in the 18 is trying everything he can to get around him. If Miller can get past him, he will regain a lap. He's currently 2 laps down, and Miller had a very fast race car early on.
He led early portion of this race, took the lead from Scott Hansen on lap 29 and led for almost 30 laps, and there he goes inside the leader. This will put him back 1 lap behind. And, of course, a full lap. So
that's a big move, though, because I got a feeling we're going to see some more yellows before this one is over. So that gets Mike back now 1 lap down, and I think he can hold that position.
That erased this last caution, the fourth of the day, erased Bill Baird's 4-second lead. Here comes Kevin Sawinski, Tony Raines.
Sawinski about half a second behind him right there in that black and yellow machine. That is second place. Raines is third, Sensma is fourth, Gary Zandmont moves up to 5th. Dennis Berry runs in 6th position in car number 5. He's had troubles.
Great job in the House Lubricator 4. He really had his struggles this weekend. Jim Daly's crew chief, as Dave said, parted the waters. He is now working with another crew member as the crew chief, Jim Beamish, and they're doing a good job. They changed the shocks and springs. They ran the last chance qualifier yesterday evening. They changed another shock this morning, so that team seems to have it together. They made the right moves, or should we say the right guesses, to get that car working.
Well, you know, Bill Baird is really fast. He is going to get back around Mike Miller. He does. Baird has not been handed this lead. He has earned this lead. He is out there on some older tires. He is working hard, and one thing that might be working to his advantage is Bill Baird came up racing dirt tracks. And if this track is as slippery as we think it is, Bill might have been able to use some of that dirt track knowledge to find a good setup out there.
He ran over 60 dirt late model shows at the UMP series. Mike Eddy has come down pit lane under green.
Oh, that could be a big move. The Good Wrench Service Pontiac is down pit road. There he is. We were not expecting to see that. He had come in under the last yellow, took left side tires, so he's got fresh tires on both sides, and they're going under the hood, Dave.
Once again, another driver going into the pits to go under the hood. They're spraying some fluid on the front there. It's overheating. You can see some steam there on Mike Eddy's car. We'll get the complete story and update you on what's happened. They didn't change any tires at all. Meanwhile, Bill Baird, he pitted on lap 50.
I wonder if some of those...
He's backing into the infield.
And Mike is bringing it deeper into the infield. As you watch Bill Baird continue to lead over Kevin.
You want that story or not, Joel? 10-4.
So Bill Baird is out front, and Ted Smokestad drifts off the racetrack.
Just that easily. He gets off the gas, doesn't want to find the fence, but loses track position and gathers it back in and continues on. It's been happening all afternoon off of turn number 4. No matter what your position is, you get outside of turn 4, you're going to lose a couple of spots. See if Dennis Lamont can hang on to the outside line there. See there again, he gets loose off of the 4th turn. Nothing wrong with the car, it's just that how breezy that track is becoming at this 90-degree heat here in Buffalo.
Brad Loney in the 33 is in 12th out there, the blue and yellow number 33. Right behind him is Carl Miscotton in the 8 car, but he is not challenging for that position. He's a couple laps down. Alec Binsnow about to go to a lap down, and Mike Eddy is out of the car. When you're ready. We're ready now. So the champ is done here today. 7-time champion having his problems, and Mike was back into the thick of the points chase, has been sitting in 10th and has had some good finishes to keep him in the mix.
Leader Bill Baird and 2 laps down Mike Miller.
Miller really fighting to try to get a lap back, and boy, it's getting a little tight out there. Look at this. Hard on the brakes.
26 cars, Bill Baird, he got on the brakes there. Look how Sawinski kind of got around there. I'm sure Tony Raines didn't like to see the bumper that close to the front end of his Pontiac.
Well, Miller actually got up underneath him and then had to get on the brakes and let him go. Baird did a great job of saving it. They're still going at it, but Dave Burns is with a frustrated Mike Eddy.
Well, Mike has a reason to be frustrated today. Car was running extremely well, Mike. What was the problem?
Lost the cylinder for some reason. Don't really know why. It's just started missing, and you know, you can't run out there all day with it messing, so we quit.
Mike, tell us how the track conditions are. We've seen a lot out there. You were out there driving it. Is it really bad or just so-so?
It's very poor conditions. There's only one lane, and if the guy on the bottom don't give you a lot of room and slow right down, there's no way you can pass him on the outside.
Okay, Mike confirms some things we've been hearing from a lot of other drivers, which was you have to stay in one groove. That was reported by Bob Sineker, as well as Ted Smokestad, both of whom changed left side tires the last time they stopped in the pits.
And you saw Bill Baird drift way up to the outside. He had lost it in 1 and 2. Sawinski has passed him.
In this lap, he lost the lead and now is back to 4th position. Mike Miller forged the way through. Kevin Sawinski went by Bill Baird Chevrolet, and he slowed way down on the backstretch.
And Mike Miller, by the way, has gotten around as well. So Miller now is only 1 lap down, but Sawinski's going to try to change that and put him back 2 laps down. There you see Sensiba in the white number 4 behind those guys. He is trying to catch up from 2nd. Ranges to 3rd. Baird holds 4th. Gary St. Amant 5th.
Sensiba came into this race 5th in points, had a terrible qualifying effort according to their standards. He's an excellent qualifier. He qualified 20th this afternoon, has only pitted once, and has worked his way back into the top 3.
Remember, he is one of the 2 drivers that came up here and tested, Mike Miller being the other one. There's your battle for 2nd, Tony Raines, who loves the fact that it is blazing hot out on the racetrack. Tony Raines feels that he is in really good shape and thinks that he can wear some of the drivers down physically out there. Tony Raines, glad to see the heat index climbing here at Lancaster, and he'll take 2nd away from Sensiba.
Raines has a lot fresher tires. He came in on lap 114 to change rights. Sensiba came back and way back on lap 59, so his tires are pretty much equaled out and getting rather slippery out there for the 4-car.
Sensiba running in 3rd right now, and Dave Burns, you know some more about that car?
Well, guys, you mentioned that they came here and tested, but when they tested here at Lancaster, it was a Pontiac test session. Now, a lot of people know that Bud Gebbett has a 2nd car for Dave Sensiba, and it is a Pontiac. But when they tested it here, Dave told me that it was a very different car than the Chevrolet that he runs. The setups are totally different. So what he learned when he was here was a good line around the track, but they really didn't learn a lot about the setup for the Chevrolet Monte Carlo they're running today.
1994 Pat Schauer Rookie of the Year gets really wide in 1 and 2. Glenn Allen Jr. gets inside of him. That is not a change for position. Little Glenn running in 24th, some 14 laps down right now. There's Baird trying to get to the inside, though. That would be for position. That's the fight for 3rd, and Bill Baird feeling awful racy here today. Gary St. Amant gets past him as well. And there's Bob Sineker right back in it.
Like one big rubber band, you see the guys slowing up, and then they slowly charge their way, and the elastic pulls tight again, and they get right in the back bumper of the car they've been chasing for 20 laps. This is the case where Sensiba may be coming back to Bob Sineker at this point in the race.
That's a fight for 5th position right now.
Sensiba has his own little collectible race car. Plain Automotive West Michigan Chevy dealers put together a 1/64 diecast and I believe a 1/24 scale. Pick that up at the local hobby shop.
Bob Sineker, amazing how methodical and smooth this driver is. And on a track like this, you have to be smooth to be fast. This is not the kind of track where you can drive overly aggressive and go to the front. And Bob is just, once again, working his way through to the front. And I think this Lane Automotive, JR Automation Mechanics, where number 84 is going to be a contender here before this day is over again.
2 laps ago, here are the leaders coming off of turn number 2. That's Sawinski number 1. Look at that, 3 wide. Getting around Neil Conley, going to the inside of Mike Miller. That doesn't happen often, and that's the only time it's happened today, and it happened to be the leader, putting Mike Miller 2 laps down again.
So much for my theory of not being able to go fast here if you drive aggressively, right? Sawinski doing a great job, and one of the reasons why this team is doing so well, they've started to gel together, and that pole position they got at La Crosse really made this team believe they belong up front. And that is exactly where Kevin Sawinski is right now, as the fans in the Buffalo area watch ASA Racing for the first time live and in person.
I'm the king grill.
Oh, yeah?
Baby, you know who's boss. Give me a 2-inch thick T-bone with spicy, hanging, Heinz 57 steak sauce.
Yeah, you're cooking now.
Let's see.
Then audition other great rock and roll albums. There's no minimum to buy. Cancel anytime.
And they
called it puppy love.
You won't find teen idols in any store, so don't wait. Call now and fall in love all over again.
To one of your teen idols, call 1-800-626-8855. That's 1-800-626-8855. Or send $9.99 plus $3.50 shipping to Teen Idols, Department 3, Richmond, Virginia, 23280.
I'm the king grill.
Oh, yeah?
Baby, you know who's boss. Give me a 2-inch thick T-bone with spicy, hanging, and 57 steak sauce.
Yeah, you're cooking now.
Let's eat.
We are back to the Pontiac Excitement 300 at Lancaster Speedway, just outside of Buffalo, New York. Gary St. Amant is now listed as our leader once again, the man who started on the pole. And here is why. Just as we went to commercial break, watch in front of the number 1. Big problems. Dennis Berry gets loose.
Mike Miller will go to the outside here.
But look at the 1. Hey.
Jack Landis spun around there in the 07. The Maisto.
That was Rick Miller's 31.
The 07 got in there as well.
Yep, Landis. And here's another look at it. There's Landis spinning. Miller spinning.
Your leader. Just kissed him.
Yeah, not enough really, I don't think, to do any damage to it, Jim, but enough to take Sawinski out of the lead. He right now is listed in 7th. Everybody dove down pit road. Gary St. Amant is listed as the leader. Mike Garvey sits in 2nd. Dennis Lampman up to 3rd. Harold Fair in 4th. Smokestad 5th. Then Raines, Sawinski, Seneker, Joe Knott, and Tom Jones in 10th.
Yeah.
Tires, Dave Burns, how are they?
Very nice off the back end of Kevin Sawinski's number 1 Brown and Sharp Chevrolet. You can see the wear here is very good, guys. This was off the right rear, and there's no appreciable wear. They were talking on the radio. They said they think they can go the rest of the way on the set that they put on. They changed 2 rear tires to help the handling of the car.
And Kevin Sawinski had led briefly there for the 4th race of the season. Rookies faring very well here in ASA. Brian Rafter and Dave Sensiva's battle of 94, very well chronicled. Those guys led a bunch of laps their rookie season.
Obviously, Gary's going to pick up 5 bonus points for leading a lap to close in on Hansen again. If you want to know what is going on in the points chase on the AC-Delco Challenge Series, the best way to do it is to subscribe to the Action Line. It is a newspaper that comes right out of the offices of ASA that has absolutely everything that takes place with the American Speed Association, interviews and updates and information on where the tour is going and how it is going throughout each racing season. A great newspaper. I don't think we can do our job very well without it.
Ross Wellman and the staff there do a great job. They continue to give updates on the drivers. They'll interview just crew members, finding out how they handle the traveling series of the American Speed Association. Great newspaper is a great way to put it. Those guys really do a great job. Guys and gals. Sorry, Melissa.
Gary St. Amant picked up those 5 points. That'll bring him back to 47, and depending on where he finishes here today, can make a big difference. Gentle Giant having a good run in the number 9. So used to seeing him in a Ford, and this year driving a Chevrolet.
The Barricade Flasher Chevrolet crew was very excited last night. Dennis is like, yeah, well, we're going to run good here, and he's very, very dry sense of humor. And I didn't know if he was telling me positively or kind of optimistically, I think we're going to have a good run tomorrow. But he wasn't real confident about it, but I think quietly he and his brother Jimmy have put together a good setup for this flat track.
Looking for his 2nd ASA victory in his career. One of the best on the Wisconsin short tracks. Stay with us. We're coming right back to Buffalo.
Everything you've ever read or anybody's ever said about Darlington is true and then some. Things happen quick. Trouble happens quick. You know, it's a tough racetrack to race on. You look at the wall and see all the tire marks, see all the places people have made mistakes. You have to drive it to understand how tough it is and what they mean when they say too tough to tame.
Busch Beer is proud to bring you the great tracks of NASCAR, now featuring the Darlington Raceway.
You're on the edge all the time here. I mean on the edge.
Do your boys hang low? Do they wobble to and fro? Can you tie them in a knot? Can you tie them in a bow? Can you fling them over your shoulder like a continental soldier? Do your boys hang low?
Hey, contain yourself.
Double layer fly for good, solid support. Fruit of the Loom. Really, really comfortable underwear.
We're back to Green Flag Racing here at Lancaster Speedway outside of Buffalo, New York. Gary St. Amant, the Wins Ford number 7 is your leader. Trying to put a lap on Jack Landis. Mike Garvey in that yellow and purple Coors Light St. Louis gear number 23 Chevrolet is listed in second. He's got the lap car of Brett Bell right between him and St. Amant.
I'm impressed with Mike Garvey. He worked at Ford City Racing with Harley Bovey and the gang in Michigan. He moved down south to run. He's run some Busch. He's run some Artco. He's run everywhere. But he knows how the chassis works, and that's exactly what the ASA Series brings out. Drivers that know how to fix these chassis, and in Bob Senegar's case, how to make the chassis.
Remember,
very intelligent drivers.
Gary St. Amant is running a Chevrolet setup on that race car, which is a Ford.
At the Pontiac Excitement 300.
Hey,
exactly. Make sure we get all the manufacturers mentioned there.
They're all working on Gary St. Amant's car right now. Dennis Lampman, right in the thick of this as the Gentle Giant goes after the 23 at Garvey.
Lampman tied Gary St. Amant in 1993 for 7th in the points. He knows how to run consistent. He's only scored 1 victory at Berlin Raceway that same year, but looks like he's got it hooked up today.
Dave, that Mike Garvey car looks like he's going to be a contender here.
Ralph, they are very pleased with the St. Louis gear pits. Just talked with Terry Garrison. The tire wear has been extremely good. The handling is fine, but they're just a little bit loose with all the track breakup. And a number of drivers told me before the race started today that Lancaster Speedway does loosen up appreciably throughout the afternoon. Anyway, the track prop only adds to it.
Gary St. Amant in the wins. Ford is the race leader.
Gary's not points racing just yet, he says.
He sure looked pretty concerned when he had the point lead. The Burt Transfer Ford, also sponsorship on St. Amant out of Columbus, Ohio. He won at Columbus. This is only the 3rd race this year, Ralph. Out of 10, this is the 10th race that he's led a lap.
A couple of the veterans going at it. One of them, of course, Harold Fair in the 81. One of the best runs we've seen out of him all year. He is running in 4th. Lampman slips. Here comes Fair. Tony Raines in tow. And Smokestad right behind him. So Dennis Lampman's going to lose 3 positions. That'll move him all the way back to about 6th position, just in front of Sawinski.
Harold Fair has 2 top 10 runs on the year. Tony Raines in battle in the point lead comes in 3rd, just 125 out of the lead. Hansen has had problems. Scott Hansen, if you just joined us, the point leader, had a distributor wire crack off. He's 16 laps down unofficially.
And there goes Lampman high once again. He's going to lose some more spots. Seneca goes by. Joe Knott goes by. Bill Baird. Look at all the cars going past Dennis Lampman. Boy, you cannot get off the groove. It's like ice skating if you get off of the racing groove. Slicks don't do well on ice.
There's a lot of buildup off the turns. Off of turn 2 and off of turn number 4, it's a visible film. Looks like a thick nest of mosquitoes, but what it actually is a lot of tire buildup and the track breaking apart slightly has made little black balls, and they have accumulated off of turn number 4. So anytime these drivers get out of the groove, Ralph, they are in serious trouble, not only because they're in the gray stuff, which is a track that has not been run on a lot, not a lot of adhesion there, not a lot of heat buildup in the surface. Couple that and compound that with those little marbles. Once you get those racing slicks on there, it is like driving on ice. And it takes quite a bit, almost a straightaway, to make sure that stuff gets rubbed off. There goes Jack Landis a little high in turn number 4 as we watch the leader, Gary St. Amant, enter turn 3 here at Buffalo.
Lampman now listed in 12th position. And see all the dark black off the top as they come off the turn 4? That's what we're talking about. There's St. Amant back out front. He's got a 1.3 second lead over second place Garvey, and a big part of that is going to be that Garvey's going to have to deal with Brett Bell as he gets there. Take a look, and you'll see those stripes. See that all up in there as they come off at turn number 4? Those gray stripes are actually the parts of the gray surface out there that just have not been covered yet. But that's how much of that black racetrack and rubber they've kicked up there. Here's that battle for second. Garvey and Harold Fair and Tony Raines. Ted Smokestad, Kevin Sawinski, and Bob Seneca all going at it. And one of the strongest grits in the paddock as Tony Raines gets by him. It's got to be the hand of Harold Fair.
Mechanic out of Detroit, Michigan, just sold his filling station a couple of years ago to concentrate on racing. He's always been a mechanical kind of guy and always working with his hands, runs his own garage. Now he runs his own, with Alec Pincino, runs the shop of a two-car effort, really, when it comes down to Alec Pincino's car preparation and his own.
The CarQuest AC-Delco number 81, and Jones is going to get a lot of company as they go 3 wide, coming off a 2.
Mike Garvey got just a little bit out of the groove, maybe a foot offline. There went Raines underneath.
So Raines now listed in second. Garvey drops to third. Harold Fair is fourth. 192 laps down. And Mike Eddy, no chicken wings here, so he's going to have to settle for a cheeseburger.
Leader Scott Hansen, 15 laps down. Mike Eddy, all-time leading driver when it comes down to making some money. He and Seneca have been battling back and forth there. Seneca, I think, has a slight edge, but both those drivers, 28 years of experience in ASA racing, and Mike Eddy, I don't think wants to watch the race. He wants to be in the race, and when he's not there, he's stuck in the infield there.
Here comes that 3 wide again. Coming off at turn number 2, you see Raines dives to the bottom. Jones gets sandwiched in the middle, and Harold Fair capitalizes on it as well.
Too bad for Tom Jones, a great run, and now he is slowing and getting to the pit area. So Jonesy, after staying on lead lap, running the latter half of the top 10, comes down pit lane the Days in Pontiac.
Gary St. Amant looking to retake the points lead in the AC-Delco Challenge Series as he chases his first ever ASA crown. And Oreo, Mike Eddy's soon-to-be hunting dog, having fun here at Lancaster.
America's most sought-after video has finally come home. Cops, Too Hot for TV. What the censors would not let you see is now available at a video store near you. This explosive video contains the most shocking footage ever recorded for cops. From the wacky to the wild. It's uncut, uncensored, unbelievable. Capture it now and you'll see it all.
Coolest tape I've ever seen. It's so much fun. I love cops.
This is the greatest video I've seen this year. You gotta get it. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Get Cops Too Hot for TV. Even cops can't believe it. Cops Too Hot for TV is now available at Best Buy and video stores everywhere. Or call 1-800-247-5151 and order direct.
A pleasant summer afternoon softball scrimmage suddenly turns into a goofball sideshow with your favorite country stars right smack in the middle. The Wrangler City of Hope Celebrity Softball Challenge 96, Wednesday at 8 on TNN.
You're gonna have a baby?
You're gonna have a baby. His wife and daughter are expecting 2 bundles of joy.
Get out of town!
He's expecting 1 nervous breakdown.
Don't worry, we got everything under control.
If you're expecting lots of laughs, Pay-Per-View delivers.
You gave him sleeping pills?
Steve Martin.
I have the chair for the prostate exam. Do I know you?
Diane Keaton and Martin Short.
This is it.
Father of the Bride Part 2. Delivered fast and easy on Pay-Per-View.
I'm running this race as a breast cancer survivor. I did this in memory of my sister-in-law who passed away 2 years ago of breast cancer. It's an incredible energy feeling, you know, to have a woman's race. As I run by anybody with the pink visor, it's just an affirmation that we're beating this disease. Everybody working towards the same goal, and that's a cure.
The battle for the lead starting to build up as Tony Raines had reeled in Gary St. Amant just as we came back at a commercial break, and the dealing with Jack Landis hurt that battle.
There's your leader. Running second, there's Raines, but here comes Sawinski again. So Kevin Sawinski trying, as we follow the action here on lap 203, trying to find a way to finish a race as strongly as he starts it. And Glenn Allen Jr. has spun in turn 3, bringing out the 6th caution of the afternoon.
Well, that'll bunch things back up. It's not going to help Gary St. Amant as 204 laps are complete. So we'll take advantage of the 6th caution of the day. We'll give you a rundown of everybody and where they are when we come back to Lancaster right after this.
Wynn's Extend Supreme Plus is a patented oil supplement especially formulated for today's high-tech engines. Extend helps increase oil life, combats engine wear, and reduces oil oxidation. So next time and every time you have your oil changed, ask for Extend, the supplement that will not void manufacturer's warranties and comes with its own 100,000-mile warranty. Extend Supreme Plus, a Wynn Oil Company product since 1939. Available at your quality service facility, including Firestone, Goodyear, and Grease Monkeys.
Presenting Armor All Vinyl Siding Wash. Just spray it on, wait 5 minutes, then rinse it off with a hose. And look, why, it's the greatest invention since vinyl siding. Armor All Vinyl Siding Wash.
Hurry into Pep Boys, where right now you can get any 4 all-season 35,000-mile tires for just $109. Any size, any 4 35,000-mile tires in stock, $109. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
It set the standard in do-it-yourself books. But now, we've made the best even better. Introducing the all-new Home Repair and Improvement series from Time Life Books. With new color illustrations, step-by-step instructions, and a new spiral binding so books lay flat. It's never been easier to save money and create the home you've always wanted. You'll learn how to build a deck your family will enjoy for years. The tricks of the trade to install a new patio. Call now to examine decks, porches, and patios free for 15 days. Keep it for the special low TV price of just $1.99. Use your credit card and get this Stanley tape measure absolutely free. Other volumes will follow. Keep only those you want. The new Home Repair and Improvement series from Time Life Books. We've made the best even better.
Call 1-800-718-5959 now to get decks, porches, and patios for just $1.99. That's 1-800-718-5959.
We are back live on TNN at the ASA's first ever race at Lancaster Speedway, just outside of Buffalo, New York. Of course, the American Speed Association will be seen all year long right here live on TNN. We've got a good schedule of races for you, too. Coming up next on our TNN coverage will be August 25th, the Badgerland 150 from the Big Mile at Milwaukee. That'll be live at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. We go back to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. All those Prattalone fans hoping to see Brad get his first ever win. Then we move on to Toledo, Ohio on September 29th for the Toledo 400. We go back to Salem, Indiana, the high banks of Salem. If you've never seen an ASA race at Salem, I encourage you to tune in that day. It should be pretty wild. And then we'll wrap up the season, the Southern National 300 from Kenly, North Carolina on November 17th. We will crown the champion live 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Dave Burns?
Well, guys, what do you do if you're on the road, you have no refrigeration, and you're a bit hungry? You pop open your heater meal, one of the associate sponsors here at this weekend's Pontiac Excitement 300. Now, these things are pretty neat. You pull out the non-refrigerated meal here, which is it's very safe and very good. We've got the green pepper steak here with rice. But they've got a heating unit down here, which is made of magnesium and iron, and you get the water open, you pour water on it, and what happens is the chemical reaction begins to heat things up, and this thing will start to bubble and churn and actually create heat. So what you do is you put your meal back on top, you slide the whole thing back into the box, and then you wait about 15 minutes with utensils in hand, and you are ready to go eating. Now, these things are sold throughout the U.S. at truck stops, about 1,000 locations there, and here in Buffalo, they started out in stores at the Tops Markets. So the heater meals people are very happy to be associated with the ASA.
Thank you, Betty Crocker. We'll check back with Dave. I want to see what that thing looks like when he's done with it.
Yeah, send one this way. I missed lunch. Gary St. Amant still out front. Tony Raines and Kevin Sawinski trying to reel him in. A Ford, a Pontiac, and a Chevrolet having at it here at the Pontiac Excitement 300.
Ted Smokestead came out of the pits on fire, figuratively. He really lit them up coming off of turn number 4 to stay ahead of the leaders as they got the green, so he's at the very tail end of the lead lap for the Super America Pontiac.
He's listed in 13th position right now. They're showing him on our scoring monitor as some 11.9 seconds back of the leader, just in front of him, a long ways around.
Tony Raines in the Klingberg Pontiac is very excited. He used to live out here in Pennsylvania in the Northeast here. And being in Buffalo this weekend, he said a bunch of the mid-state supply distributors of Klingberg came out here to support him and the entire Baker Motorsports team. So not only is it great for Pontiac to see Tony Raines up front, but great for his sponsors who are here in force in Lancaster. quick on Gary St. Amant there. Here comes Sawinski in the inside. Can he make it work? Ooh, that's tight.
Oh, look at that. Sawinski forces his way through, and we talked about it early on about how the momentum this team built up by winning the pole last week in La Crosse, Wisconsin, really makes this team feel like they belong up front. He's going for the lead, coming off a 4, and he's got it. Kevin Sawinski was the Brown and Sharp #1 Chevy Monte Carlo right in front of the rest of the field.
The 10th lead change we've had, 214 laps in.
And Raines and St. Amant got together. And it looked like St. Amant really slowed down there for a second. I don't know what was wrong.
I don't think he wanted to go into turn number 3 too wide. I think he was going to give Raines the spot because he had position, let Tony go, and save the car. We saw too many cars thus far, and I'm sure Gary has too, ahead of him and in the mirrors. Get sideways in turns 3 and 4. It's very slippery there.
As you take a look at your leader, Kevin Sawinski, let's do a pan back through the whole field and show you where everybody is so you can find your favorite American Speed Association driver and track him at this point. Of course, Kevin Sawinski is your leader. There's Tony Raines, the 87 Cleanburn car. He's running in second place. Behind Raines, you see Gary St. Amant, the #7, the Wins Ford. He sits in third. The 81, which is the CarQuest AC-Delco back machine of Harold Fair, is listed in fourth. There's a good look at Harold, and right on his bumper is Joe Knott, the #48 Raby Ford, the Valvoline-backed entry. And he's going to get around St. Amant. Behind that group is a little ways back, and you see Mike Miller, the 18. Now, Mike has picked up 1 lap. At one point, he was 3 laps down. He had led for quite a while. Then he went to 2 laps down as we get a caution.
Trouble in turn 2. Glenn Allen Jr. again. Mike Miller running 14th on the grid.
Mike is now 1 lap down, and this yellow will help him. Little Glenn having some problems here as he makes a return to the American Speed Association. He currently leads the Busch Grand National point standings for Rookie of the Year.
4th ASA race of the season he's qualified for. He missed the rain out at Columbus, but he did have a 6th place finish in ASA this season at Toledo.
We'll see him a few more times before the year is out. All right, so we're going to step away once again as the 7th yellow of the day flies over Lancaster Speedway. Stay with us. We're coming back for more.
Bored with your rider? Not seeing results fast enough? Want a better workout? Then you need Nordic Track's new CTX, the revolutionary machine so advanced, it's 5 ways better than an ordinary rider. 1. Better workout. CTX combines aerobics to burn calories and strengthen your heart, stretching to increase your flexibility, and muscle conditioning to shape and tone your body for a workout that's more complete than any ordinary rider. 2. Burn more calories. The CTX allows you to elevate your heart to the fitness building zone where you burn maximum calories. 3. Better cardiovascular conditioning. Only CTX easily strengthens and conditions your cardiovascular system by elevating your heart to the target heart rate zone. Ordinary riders can't do that. 4. Superior toning. Only CTX has exclusive muscle conditioning moves to shape and tone. The overhead press and pull down exercises your arms, shoulders, chest, back, and even your abs for a more attractive upper body. Plus, only CTX has a leg curl and leg press exercise to work the glutes, thighs, hamstrings, and calves to shape and tone your legs. 5. More variety. Unlike ordinary riders with only 1 motion, CTX eliminates boredom from your workout with 3 pressing, pulling, and exclusive overhead movements. Get the new CTX from Nordic Track. Aerobics, stretching, and muscle conditioning all on 1 easy-to-use revolutionary machine. So advanced, it's 5 ways better than ordinary riders. Try the CTX at home for 30 days. If you aren't well on your way to being fit and more trim, Nordic Track will guarantee your satisfaction with a full refund of the purchase price.
Call now to order, or for more information, 1-800-249-8237. Discover why CTX is 5 ways better than any ordinary rider. For as low as $29.95 a month, it's an easy way to prove it to yourself. Call now, 1-800-249-8237.
Today on Motor Trend, it's the first on- and off-road test of Ford's Suburban Fighter, the all-new full-size Expedition. Plus, the big block Buick muscle cars of the 70s, the American Classic, Grand Sports. And how about turbocharging the wind in your hair? It's the Mitsubishi Eclipse Spider, dropping the roof on performance. The cutting edge of automotive journalism, Motor Trend Television, this afternoon at 4 Eastern on TNN Motorsports.
The 1996 AC-Delco Challenge Series on TNN is brought to you in part by Quinn Oil Company, makers of quality automotive car care products. Remember, when it wins, it works. Buy your GM Goodwrench service dealer. We want your business. And by Heinz 57 Steak Sauce. Let's eat. The green flag is just waved once again. Kevin Sawinski continues to lead over Tony Raines, Harold Fair, and Joe Knott, the first 4 cars in the picture. We're going to go back to Tony Roper in the 10, the Child's Tire Chevy. He's currently running in 7th as we pick up with our look back through the field. Right behind Tony is the 26 Saturn Chevy of Bill Barrett as they battle for position. If Barrett takes it away from Roper, so pencil Barrett into 7th if you're scoring at home. There's the 0 Euro. Tom Jones having a good run here today. Tom right now is listed in 18th position, but he was in the thick of the battle early on. 15 is Brandon Sperling. Now, Brandon, once again, is dealing with some problems in the handling of the car. He is 4 laps down, listed in 16th. In the Ultra Custom Wheels Microtel lids back entry. The Odessa machine, the number 8 of Scott, is right behind him at 17th, so they are actually battling for position. Those 2 young up-and-comers on the American Speed Association Tour. There's Dennis Berry in the 5 and Brad Loney in the 33. Loney's 33 is listed in 9th. He's quite a ways back from the lead pack. Dennis Berry, on the other hand, is listed back in 14th, so that was not a pass for position. He's
Dennis
2
Berry
laps
lost
down.
2 laps down on a spin on the turn before earlier.
Ted Smokestadt in the 32, the Super America car, is sitting in 10th position right now. And there is Dave Sensiba, the 4 car, who has been all over our rundown. Right now, he is in 4th position, about 2 seconds back of the leaders. Dave, what do you got? More on him?
Yeah, Ralph, you guys noticed he came in during that brief caution period after pitting just a few laps before that. They had changed rear tires to tighten up the car. It was very loose, and then they came in during that brief caution period to change only the right front tire. It was going soft. There was a lot of air pouring out of that thing, a hole in it, probably from the conditions on the track today.
With him is Glenn Allen Jr., who's really struggled here today. Right behind him in the 99. Glenny, some 16 laps down, really struggling, but giving the Simonton Windows machine a run, having some fun in another ASA appearance for him. There's Mike Garvey, the 23, who's up front early on. He, too, is trying to find his way back to the front. He is listed as 1 lap down right now in 12th position.
For as tight as they're racing, Ralph, you see the nose on the 23 car. That's the only damage we've seen, except for altercations that cause cautions. I thought there'd be more of accordion effect damage at this point in the race. We're climbing to within 60 laps to go, but you can see that Garvey is getting a little bit more air than he wanted to in the front end of his Chevy.
See the hood buckled there a little bit, just above the bow tie. As we look back, we find Mike Miller, the 18 car, is, as we said, 1 lap down. At one point, he was the leader. At another point, he was 3 laps down. He's back to 1 lap down, listed in 13th. He's got 1 win this season at I-70 Speedway and the other Pontiac Excitement 300 so far this season. There's Brett Bell, the 56 machine. The Wonder Bar Redline Oil car is running in 19th. He's 6 laps down. This is a team that's been up and down all year as well. They've shown themselves to be real strong in places like Cedar Rapids for one, and then they've had their problems mechanically as well. There's Rick Miller now missing the hood. The 31 continues to lap as he makes a return to the ASA season after taking last weekend off. 31 machine is in 20th, 8 laps down. Arsenberger Truckling sponsoring his Chevrolet out of Dunbar, Pennsylvania. And you're back to Kevin Sawinski, your leader.
Brown & Sharp on the side of that car is more than just a sponsor. They actually have a showroom in the race shop in Minnesota for Scott Lefevre and those guys. So not only do they have to keep the race shop clean, they've got to keep it showroom condition, because the metrology equipment that measures the metals and measures the thicknesses of metal is what Brown & Sharp do as a company, and they have a number of those machines in the race shop with these guys back in Minnesota.
There you see Harold Fair and Bob Seneca getting around Jack Landis. Gary St. Amant struggling over in turn 4. He almost loses it. And the leaders, this group here now, making their way over to that very same area. They tightrope their way through that very tricky, very slippery section of racetrack. Gary said earlier today that he is going to pattern himself after Bob Seneca. He's going to try to drive like Bob does. Very smooth, very patient. It's working for Seneca. He sits in 4th right now. Harold Fair is in 3rd as they continue to chase Joe Knott and Kevin Sawinski. Bob Seneca, the only driver on the tour with 3 victories so far this season.
And to follow up on Gary St. Amant, Ralph, he had said, when I went out to win that pole position in qualifying, I drove fast, but I drove slow to go fast. Very smooth, very easy on the gas, easy on the brake, and that's exactly how Seneca drives, and that's what has made him the most successful driver in ASA.
Of course, Harold Fair has been on this tour for quite a few years. Harold having one of the best runs we've seen in a while out of him, and he's about to lose his spot. Bob Seneca. That puts Bob up into 3rd. Well, like I said before, here he comes. Bob Seneca, you can never count him out. I don't care how far back he is at any point in the race, he stands a chance. Here is Kevin Sawinski, and he is up into that loose stuff, and Joe Knott's going to try to get inside, but Gail Conley is there to block that move. So these 2 young Chargers, meanwhile, are racing very aggressively. There are 4 lap cars right now between them and Seneca. Make that 3 as Seneca now gets around Jones.
The Al Knott Toyota-sponsored Ford of Joe Knott is definitely working. We mentioned they had a engine change yesterday. They said the engine they qualified with was just a tired motor. A lot of laps on it, but they put the new Sterling power plant back in this one, and it certainly is performing at full song. We mentioned a minute ago Gary St. Amant going down a lap. That's only the 2nd lap he's lost all season long. He's completed every lap, -1 coming into today, and now St. Amant goes just 1 lap off the pace here at Lancaster.
But he is going to pick up huge points in the championship fight, as Scott Hansen has really struggled out here today. Hansen right now listed 23rd, 22 laps down. Brad Loney is a lap down. He's in 11th. There's Harold Fair, and he's banging bumpers with Gary St. Amant. Dave Burns?
Well, Dick Ader is taking over the crew chiefing job for Harold Fair Jr. this weekend. Jr. is up north in Toledo, working on his late model ride. Dick, why did you guys decide to stay out the last time rather than come in?
The AC-Delco CarQuest Victor Ryan Pontiac was staying consistent at 1960s, 1970s. The leaders are right there with us, so we decided not to change tires and gamble, and we're kind of hoping for another yellow, and we're slowing up just a bit now, but we're still good.
We know the track is pretty bad, Dick. Has Harold complained about the heat at all?
No, he's not complaining about the heat. The track's getting kind of like Cayuga does, and he's kind of used to that, so I think that's one of the things helped us. We've been there before.
Another veteran story developing down here in the Harold Fair pit.
Cayuga, Canada, the racetrack they're talking about, which is just north of here, that ASA has raced at for years. No longer on the tour, however, Roger Slack, whose grandfather owned that racetrack, is the guy who flags off all ASA races. By the way, Jack Landis just making a pit stop to change a right rear tire. Must have had a flat.
Dr. Yo Cownley off the pace. If you just joined us here on TNN, Mike Eddy has pulled his car behind the wall. He'll finish 26th on the afternoon. So, as we mentioned how important those points were at the beginning of the broadcast, it certainly will shuffle greatly in the top 12 to 14 spots in points.
Kevin Sawinski got his first pole position on the AC-Delco Challenge Series Tour last week in La Crosse. Going to get his first win here at Lancaster. Stay with us to find out.
I'm the king grill.
Oh, yeah?
Baby, you know who's boss. Give me a 2-inch thick T-bone with spicy, hanging, Heinz 57 steak sauce.
Yeah, you're cooking now.
Let's eat.
In Denton, Texas, a lot of folks who work on their cars go to AutoZone.
because they know they're going to find quality parts, low prices, great selection, and good people like Tom Robinson. You see, Tom's the kind of guy who really likes to help folks out. And since he's been around cars most all his life, he knows his parts, too. Oh, sure, there are other parts stores in town, but when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice from folks like Tom, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
You say your painted wood's looking kind of dirty? Clean it with new Armor All Painted Wood Wash. Just spray it on, then rinse away the dirt and mold and mildew stains to make your paint look great again. New Armor All Painted Wood Wash.
Joe Knott has never won an AC-Delco Challenge Series race in his ASA career, but he might here today as he has taken the lead away from Kevin Sawinski. So two young drivers looking for their first ever ASA wins, and this is how they're racing, Jim.
Joe Knott is now the 10th different driver to take the lead in this event. Right to the inside of Kevin Sawinski, textbook pass. Sawinski had to surrender second spot. 11 lead changes among 9 drivers, and that's Joe Knott taking the point for the first time today.
You know, last week at La Crosse, we all commented that it was probably the raciest track we had seen as far as the amount of passing and dicing that we had seen throughout the field. We've got Rick Miller off the pace in turn 4, losing it on the outside. And that is going to bring out the 8th caution of the day.
This caution will be critical. If these drivers, and I'm sure a lot of the leaders will be pitting, the call to make now is on what to put those. Your tire pressure is very important here. Bias ply tires. Ralph, you've been in the pits many years here. It gets very critical now. The tire specialists rise to the occasion with only 42 laps to go here. It's very, very important for those guys to get it right.
Well, and track position is a big thing, too. So quality work by your crew can make a big difference. Here's a look at the spin. Miller to the inside of Dennis Berry. And carried too much speed into the turn and gets up into that loose stuff, and away he goes.
Rick's getting plenty of TV time, unfortunately not the way he'd like it, as he is involved with the second altercation. He already lost the hood after getting involved with a spin earlier, back on lap 57.
So Kevin Sawinski dives down, but Joe Knott stays out. Will it benefit Sawinski or will it benefit Joey Knott? We'll find out when we come back to Lancaster Speedway. 260 of the 300 laps in the books.
You like the action? Do you crave excitement? Then listen up.
TNN Motorsports and Miller present the Win with the Driver Sweepstakes Year 2. We're bringing it back for repeat performance. Enter today. You can win a trip for 2 to one of these live Winston Cup races. You'll also get spending money, a complimentary team jacket, a tour of the Miller team's rig and pit, meet Rusty Wallace, and more.
Hey, cool.
And if Rusty wins the race, you get $5,000. If he finishes, you pocket a cool grand.
You feeling lucky?
To enter, send a postcard with your name, address, and phone number to this address.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your entries.
Get your entry in by August 16th, then watch race day on TNN August 25th to find out if you're going to the MBNA 500. Remember, if you don't win this time, your entry is eligible for the next drawing.
Enter now.
This sweepstakes is brought to you by Split Fire Spark Plugs and 104 Plus Octane Boost.
Monday on TNN. Get your front row seats. Join host Ricky Skaggs, Sam Moore, Shelby Lynn, and Leon Russell. CMT presents Monday Night Concerts, 8 Eastern on TNN, the Nashville Network.
You're gonna have a baby?
You're gonna have a baby. His wife and daughter are expecting 2 bundles of joy.
Get out of town!
He's expecting 1 nervous breakdown.
Don't worry, we got everything under control.
If you're expecting lots of laughs, Pay-Per-View delivers.
You gave him sleeping pills?
Steve Martin.
I have the chair for the prostate exam. Do I know you?
Diane Keaton and Martin Short.
This is it.
Father of the Bride Part 2. Delivered fast and easy on Pay-Per-View.
The following programming is brought to you by Prime Star.
Turn on to adventure. Turn on to excitement. Turn on to romance.
Turn on to an American original. Turn on to country. Turn on to CMT.
We've had 12 lead changes so far here today. That ties the record for lead changes in 1996. Toledo Speedway earlier on this year, we had 12 lead changes as well, Dave.
They had a decision to make for Joe Knott. Obviously, Joe must be very happy with the car. You guys stayed out.
Yeah, we're real good right now. The only car we're worried about is the 84 car. Hopefully the Valvoline oil right before Thunderbird's going to come home first.
No complaints from Joe at all in the handling right now?
Not really. It's pretty good.
Okay, Bob Sineker right behind him. They decide to stay out, and they're going to duel it out to the end.
Crew chief for Joe Knott, very anxious, and like we mentioned, Ralph, during the break, we were talking about his near win a year ago at Jennerstown. This is his best position now to score his first AC-Delco Challenge Series win.
Do you remember who kept him from that?
Yep, the stinker.
The guy in second place, you betcha. Bob Sineker. Bill Baird wants to have a say. Baird in 26 is third. We've been saying it all day. Bill's feeling pretty racy out there today, and he's giving him a run.
He's gained position on every restart. Bill Baird able to get on the gas pedal and make those moves before the field evens out. He's not able to do it here on Bob Sineker. Joining that pack now is the car one lap down of Mike Miller. AFC 1000 Car Cup Pontiac.
Now, ASA has raced in upstate New York 3 times in its history. All 3 times were over at Oswego. Bob Sineker finished third the first year. Dick Trickle and Alan Kowicki were first and second that day. The next time they came back in 1986, Bob was ninth. Mark Martin, Dick Trickle, Tom Jones, and Darrell Waltrip were top 4 that day. And the last time was back in 1991. Scott Hansen was the winner over Johnny Benson and Tony Raines, and Bob was 8th. So consistently, Bob finishes inside the top 10 when they race in New York. There is Ted Smokestads, number 32, battling Mike Garvey in the 23. That is a fight for 7th. Now, Lisa Smokestad, who is married to Ted's brother Craig, who is the crew chief for the car, has been addicted to stickers. That girl has been running all over the ASA area and been sticking Super America stickers all over the place. In fact, I've been told Joe Knott's going to find one on the bottom side of his fuel cell when they get the 48 back to the shop. Jones almost loses it in a 0, and she finally found her way to the TV booth. She has plastered our booth with Super America stickers, so we're going to have to find a way to get her back.
I think we're going to have to handcuff her, Ralph, because you can't quiet the girl because she can still run around and put stuff on everywhere she wants to. So
she's getting as much airtime for Super America as her brother-in-law is these days. There's Sensiba, who's in 6th. Garvey is in 7th. They're fighting for position with the lap cars of Brad Loney and Glenn Allen Jr. just in front of him.
And Ted Smokestad's running in 8th position for that spot. He's running right behind Garvey. Now he goes low on that Coors Light Chevrolet.
Loney is listed in 12th. He is in that fight for the points championship. He's probably going to lose a few points here today.
It was amazing. Last race is Kevin Sawinski spins in turn 4. This is the 3rd time in the last 5 laps that the rookie driver in the Brown Sharp Chevrolet has gotten extremely wide. This time he powered into turn number 3 and went up into the marbles. He saved it twice. 3rd time was not the charm for Sawinski, bringing out the 9th caution of the afternoon.
So Sawinski listed 2 laps down now. That's what it shows on the scoring monitor.
I think he'll only lose 1 lap as he comes through now.
Yeah, doubles back around now.
He has a right front problem. Looks like they changed the right side tires the last time in, and since that point, I mean, he came in only on lap 259.
Smoke off that right front, too.
But that right front really may be failing him here.
Well, Dave Burns has been working hard in the pits, baking a heater meal.
Good bib, Ben.
Good work he's been doing all day today.
Just how long does a car battery last? About this much time is put into most batteries. But AC-Delco puts in more time, so our batteries last over 20% longer. Well, now there's the Delco Freedom 84, our longest-lasting battery ever. We put in 7 years of guaranteed starts, making it the granddaddy of all batteries.
Hey, my watch!
We're here to
tell you about AbWorks from Nordic Track, the advanced abdominal exerciser. AbWorks is fun, it's new, and it's hot. Get AbWorks for a smoking new waistline.
With AbWorks, you can effectively work your abs with complete neck and back support.
Look better. Sculpt the abs of your dreams. The ultimate ab machine is here. AbWorks by Nordic Track. Work upper, lower, and side abdominals with complete support for the head, neck, and spine for a safe workout. Tone your entire waistline in just 5 minutes a day. Get it for $119.95 or 4 easy payments of $29.95.
Call now to order and get this free workout video with complete instructions for 15 AbWorks exercises, plus my 20-minute aerobic workout. That's everything you need.
Call now to order the complete AbWorks system for $119.95 or 4 easy payments of $29.95. Get your AbWorks today.
Takes 5,000 horsepower.
Down a quarter mile. Less than 5 seconds.
And what do you get?
The NHRA on TNN Motorsports.
Get ready. It's a tire-turning, nitro-burning, nose-blowing, piston-blowing, need for speed, take the lead, NHRA on TNN time. Live from Indianapolis Raceway Park, it's the U.S. Nationals. Monday, September 2nd, 4:30 Eastern.
It doesn't get any closer.
We're back to green, and Joe Knott is inching closer to his first ever ASA victory.
Within 24 laps of the finish, he pulls away from Bob Seneca on the restart. We just went back to green. Bill Baird running in the 3rd position in that orange and black Saturn machine, number 26.
This will be the best career finish
easily
for Bill Baird. Easily. Joe Knott has finished 2nd. Let's check in with more on the Bill Baird story.
Well, guys, it doesn't look good. They expect to be going back very quickly. They believe they've lost a cylinder on the Saturn Machines Chevrolet, so Bill's day may be short. Meanwhile, in the Kevin Sawinski pit, it was a broken A-frame on the right front that may have been from earlier contact today. And remember the bumpiness on the track, that certainly added to it.
Problems for Rick Miller. He's listed 9 laps down in 20th. And that number 31 is going to have to visit the pits.
He went through the infield. He went through the infield a lap and a half ago over in turn 2, and Brad Loney now is got the right front fender in turn number 4. He has to feel the way on the flex steel Pontiac, so that could pose some problems for Loney, the Iowa driver. Hot in the points chase, came in 9th, just ahead of Mike Eddy in the points standings.
Mike Miller in that red and white number 18, right behind Seneca. He's 3rd on your screen, but he is actually listed at 10th. He is 1 lap down. All that hard effort of trying to get those laps back has really paid off for Mike. He's going to come out of here with some good points.
And with Kevin Sawinski's problems, Brad Loney trying to run this race. He's only 9 points behind Kevin Sawinski in this point chase. I keep mentioning the points route because it's so important. As Mike Miller loses the left rear wheel, he pirouettes down the front stretch.
Literally loses the left rear wheel as it goes flying off the car. Now, earlier on today, we saw Jim Daly have problems getting all the lug nuts on the rear tire under a pit stop. Did they have problems again mounting that rear tire, and this time did it bite Mike Miller? And what a shame that would be after he has worked so hard today to regain those laps.
He would have been in great position, 7th in points coming in, gaining positions, only a lap down to leaders. The tire went flying down the front stretch.
There you see one of the Lancaster Speedway track crew people picking up that tire. There's Mike. He's still sitting in the car.
Now the rotor in the the rotor in the left rear of that car was digging into the pavement in turn number 4. There's a distinct white line through the pavement, and that's the route that he took, and he hit the front stretch wall hard.
You'll see that white line left as the car comes up the front straightaway, kind of zigzags along. As we take a look at this replay, you're already into the middle of it.
Wheels off. There it is.
Comes back, chasing him down the front straightaway, bounces over the car. Now from our speed shot.
Let's count how many times he goes around. I believe it's 3 spins in succession here. 1, 2, and he hit with the left front, so that's 3 spins. That rear tire was behind him. It ended up all the way over in turn number 1.
Did you see that tire clear the car? The car's got to be, what, 4 feet tall, 3.5 feet tall? And the tire cleared the car by 3 feet.
Let's take one last look at this as Mike Miller waves to the crowd saying he's okay, but keep your eye. Right there, the car turns around on him.
Now watch the tire come back over the car right there. Look at how high that tire gets. It comes right after our cameraman down in turn number 1. Foam barriers, how do they work? Pretty good.
They line the racetrack to try to keep cars inside. In this case, it kept the wheel in.
Here it is in real time from the speed shop as Mike Miller, missing a tire, comes sliding into your face.
Carl Hyland and the boys will have the work cut out for them. Again, we're in an 8-week stretch, 8 consecutive weekends. The American Speed Association tours the country.
Mike's still able to smile. Bad news is he's going to have to man up his car and tow back in all that traffic trying to get out of Atlanta from the Olympics. Stay with us. We're coming back to Lancaster.
This is the story of the man in black, and the Goodwrench team keeps his car on track. You know their secret's consistency. It's all in the list. And if it takes all night, they'll get it done right.
Turn to your GM Goodwrench service team for consistency and attention to detail. Their tools, training, equipment, and genuine GM parts let you run with the winners.
To build the perfect ride, use a checklist as your guide. And always keep the customer satisfied.
My brakes are gone. Any chance I could get that fixed in a couple of hours?
Tell you what, leave it here. I'll see what I can do. Check in periodically.
I was wondering, how's my car coming?
I have 3 of my best guys on it right now.
With Pep Boys 12 service bays and expert technicians, you're in and out fast. 26,000 items, tires, and service too. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
It was here, at this place, in this moment, when Pontiac became Pontiac Excitement.
What do you think she'll do? Well, let's just see.
Living up to that performance has taken us places we've never been, taught us things we've never imagined, and set us on a journey that continues to this day. You can feel it in the legendary V8 power of the Ram Air Firebird, the multi-valve response of Grand Am GT, and the world-class refinement of the supercharged Bonneville. Now, most car companies would call this mission accomplished. But to Pontiac, the excitement is just beginning.
What do you think she'll do?
Join the Winston Cup Stars December 9th through 13th on TNN's 2nd annual NASCAR Family Cruise, benefiting the Winston Cup Racing Wives Auxiliary. Enjoy the fun of the Caribbean on the Big Red Boat, the Starship Oceanic. There'll be NASCAR festivities and activities, plus stops in the Bahamas. It's 4 nights of non-stop food, fun, and high seas hospitality. You'll party with top NASCAR drivers.
Everybody's enjoyed this. It was a big hit.
Call now for 5 days on America's #1 family cruise. Special rates for kids. Don't miss the boat, the Big Red Boat, December 9th.
Racing Electronics is the official communications equipment supplier of the American Speed Association. They are offering you the opportunity to win a unit and Bearcat scanner on each ASA telecast on TNN, just like the one Kevin Peterson here from Racing Electronics is wearing. Along with the scanner, you get a 1-year Racers Frequency membership. To enter the drawing, send your name and address on a postcard to Racing Electronics, P.O. Box 561244, Charlotte, North Carolina 28256. This week's winner is Donald Martin from Burlingame, Kansas. Congratulations, Donald. Enjoy your scanner from Racing Electronics, just the way Kevin Peterson is here today.
Kevin's the man. If any of these teams have radio problems, Racing Electronics is always at the racetrack to fix them.
There's all the guys from Super America. Waiting to see what's going to happen here as we go back to green. Joe Knott out front. Bob Seneker is second. Bill Baird is third.
Tony Raines lost the handle off of turn number 2, and he'll lose the spot to Tony Roper.
Tony Roper slides up to 4th. What a great run for him.
Once again, Joe Knott, look at that jump he's got, Ralph. 10 car lengths off of 4, then Bob Seneker closes it back up, and look at this. Raines down pit lane quickly.
They got to come get a tire. They're going to change tires as we've got a problem with Brandon Sperling on the outside of turn. Whoa! Man, did you see Rick Miller miss him? Whew. Holy cow. Brandon Sperling is into the foam barriers on the outside of turn 1, and Miller tried everything he could to miss him, but he got up into those marbles, had the car sideways, and missed him by just an inch or two.
Great job of driving by Rick Miller. He's had his problems today, but gathered it back in to stay out of the wall and out of the side of the 15 car. Bad break for Tony Raines, though. He came in just as the yellow flew. He'll lose a lap, if not 2, to the leaders.
Let's check in with the Mike Miller story. Dave Burns?
Well, guys, Mike Miller worked harder than anybody else this weekend to try to win at the Pontiac Excitement 300. This is what they changed last night on the motor. This is a valve spring, and Mike found it by doing his normal maintenance job, and actually Mike and I had a long talk about understanding the valve spring. But I know you didn't want to go out this early today. A little trouble out there. We think, obviously, you lost a lug nut or something on the right rear.
Yeah, the AFC 1000 Car Cop USA Team Handball Wagner-powered Pontiac was really running today. It was too bad that we got a flat tire early. I think we basically had them covered. But that's racing. You know, we've been very, very lucky those last 6 or 7 weeks. You know, everything has kind of gone our way. Today, things didn't.
How do you feel about the next 6 or 7 weeks after this, then? Is this just a blip in the schedule?
Yep, and we're just going to grit our teeth and go back at it. You know, we'll drive home tonight and get up in the morning and fix the car, and we're going to be at Berlin Friday afternoon. Saturday night, we're going out there to attack Berlin.
Mike, do you have another car waiting back at the shop, or is this the only one?
No, we've got another one that's about 2 days away, but we're going to fix this one. Most of the damage is superficial.
Okay, Mike Miller, Carl Hyland, and the rest of their team, we're going to work hard this week to get back to Berlin.
All right, let's take a look at what happened here with Brandon Sperling.
Outside of, ooh, he just got out there.
Yep,
look how far out he went.
Boy, it really snapped that car around, too.
Could have been worse if foam actually saved it.
Here comes Miller. Yee. And we're going back to green. 6 laps left to go. Joe Knott out front. Bob Seneker in second. Bill Baird is in third. Baird gets into the back of Seneker.
Believe it or not, Brandon Sperling has returned to the racetrack just ahead of the leaders here. He's the slow car there, but that's a testament to that foam. It really kept that car together. Mostly just body damage.
Last year, at the end of the season, Joe Knott looked like he was going to get his first ever ASA win, and Baird gets into the back of Seneker again. Joe Knott looked like he was going to maybe get his first ever win. Bob Seneker chased him down, caught him. They came together coming off of 4. Went flying up along the inside pit wall, and Seneker, sailing along the pit wall, got the win. Joe has been close to getting a win since, but has not been able to do it. Today, he is well out in front.
It sounds like Bob Seneker may be off the pace and trying to hang on to second. We'll find out after the race to see if Seneker indeed has lost power, but his car definitely sounds like it's detonating, or maybe there's a cracked header as he's now trying to hang on and keep Bill Baird behind him. I don't think he has anything for Joe Knott, Ralph.
Baird is right on it, but cannot get around him. Joe Knott sees 2 laps to go. If Seneker drifts out just a little bit farther, Baird is going to dive to the inside, but Bill Baird definitely looks like he's quicker. They really worked hard on the handling of Joey Knott's car. They are running the most travel they have run all year on their springs, and look at Baird going after him again. The white flag is out. The handling really coming in perfectly on this Chris Bradley tune, number 48 Bravey valvoing 4 to Joe Knott. Joe Knott half a lap away from his first ever ASA win. Baird dives to the bottom to try to get second. Off of 4, here comes Joe Knott to his first ever AC-Delco Challenge Series victory. Bob Seneker holds on for second. Bill Baird gets his best career finish with a fine third. 4th goes to Tony Roper. 5th to Dave Sensiba.
Just nipped Harold Fair there to get that position. 5th and 6th. Fair ends up 6th today.
Mike Garvey is credited with 7th. Ted Smokestad in 8th. Gary St. Amant 9th. That'll shake up the point standings. 10th goes to Tony Roper. And we're going to talk to the winner, the Pontiac Excitement 300. First-timer, Joe Knott, right after this.
I'm the king grill.
Oh, yeah?
Baby, you know who's boss. Give me a 2-inch thick T-bone with spicy, hanging, and 57 steak sauce.
Oh, yeah, you're cooking now.
Let's eat.
Hold it, Harry. You know you can't use Duraloop fuel treatment in your Indy car. It's an unfair advantage.
I'm not allowed to use this product in my Indy car, but in my road car, I want the Duraloop advantage.
Duraloop is scientifically formulated to clean, condition, and protect your fuel system for a smoother running engine with more power and less harmful emissions. Duraloop fuel treatment, tomorrow's technology today.
Now, a brief on the Olympic Games from Haynes.
The first Olympians had strength, courage, and spirit. What they didn't have was clothes. Maybe that's why coming in first was so important.
Thank you.
Think if they had Haynes back then, they could have enjoyed Haynes' style and comfort and been spared the embarrassment of finishing second or third.
All rise for the national anthem.
Thank you. I'm Michael Jordan, and you've been briefed.
In Denton, Texas, a lot of folks who work on their cars go to AutoZone because they know they're going to find quality parts, low prices, great selection, and good people like Tom Robinson. You see, Tom's the kind of guy who really likes to help folks out. And since he's been around cars most all his life, he knows his parts, too. Oh, sure, there are other parts stores in town, but when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice from folks like Tom, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
I'm the king grill.
Oh, yeah?
Baby, you know who's boss. Give me a 2-inch thick T-bone with spicy, hanging, and 57 steak sauce.
Oh, yeah, you're cooking now.
Let's eat.
One of the happiest victory lanes we've seen on the American Speed Association Tour this year. Joe Knott finally gets his first ever AC-Delco Challenge Series victory. He does it here the first time the American Speed Association has visited Lancaster Speedway. The Pontiac Excitement 300 brought to you by Heater Meals. Let's go downstairs to Dave Burns with a happy, happy winner.
Well, everybody's joining the A-team down here today. It was the Valvoline crew of Joe Knott. First of all, Joe, we all want to know how you feel.
It's a little tired, it's a little warm. Track was a little bit loose. I mean, you just had to tiptoe your way around, and I think we had the best car. And earlier this weekend, I said you really had to be a great driver to come in here, and I think these 5 years of practice have paid off.
Now, Joe, did it pass through your mind at all during those last few laps that this was the same way it looked at the end at Jennerstown?
Yeah, I saw Bob back there, and I told myself I'm not going to make the same mistake, and we deserve this, and it's going to be ours.
It was obviously a team effort. You guys worked hard chasing this all day, and they're really kind of tough conditions.
Yeah, the whole crew really did a great job. I mean, pit stops were excellent. I actually stalled it on one pit stop, and Hanson's crew said, man, tell your driver to keep that thing going. And Valvoline, Raby Ford, Alan, Honda, Mazda, Toyota, everybody back home in Lima, Ohio, Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm just too excited.
You want to do this again?
Oh, definitely. We'll be back.
Okay, Joe Knott, that's victory number 1. And, guys, he's only been around the ASA for a few years.
He definitely earned this one, Joe. You should be very proud. I know his dad, Ron, is here, and I'm sure he's thrilled to death. Always speed action. I like that one. Well, our winning move, we're going to give it to Tony Roper. Driver of the Child's Tire, number 10, did a great job here today, fighting his way up through the field. Tony came into this race in 11th and earned himself a good victory. He'll finish up 4th here today. Lancaster was definitely in the thick of things and one of his best runs.
Ties his career best run. It's only his second top 5 finish since joining the American Speed Association in 1992, but a great run. Held off the likes of Dave Sensiba. Had to battle Harold Fair at the end there, but a great run. A great run indeed for the Missouri driver. Second-generation driver, his dad, Dean, who for many years ran USAC stocks, USAC champion, has been his spotter all season long and really has helped Tony through some tough situations and kept that car together and really had a strong run. And I think that's their 5th top 10 finish of the season.
So the winning move goes to Tony Roper. Let's go back down to Dave Burns.
Well, I'm in victory lane with a guy that finished 3rd, but I feel like I'm talking to a guy who had a victory today. Bill, great job.
Yeah, 2.5 years. Been a long time. Crew's great. And that Saturn machine, Allen Shop, Valvoline, K-Tech motor was great. We have, I think, the strongest car out there. I just didn't want to take a chance there at the end with Bob. I was all over him, but, that guy's given me a lot of respect through the year. Tickled death Joey Knott won his first race, and I run I can always remember this. And, you know, it's been a long time coming. And, you know, I come here, I hate this racetrack. I think I love this place.
Bill Baird wants to come back to Lancaster. We understand the bad motor that we heard out there was actually yours. You thought we had a cylinder going.
Yeah, you know, we don't know what. I didn't lose a lot of power, maybe just a cracked head. I'm afraid to look at it. You know, it happened with 30 laps ago. I said, what's going to happen this time? But the car was well prepared coming here. And you know, Keith Strump, my crew chief, he gives me a good car. We just been needing a break. And, you know, finally something happened. Last weekend, the power steering actually fell off the car, but the belt didn't come off of it. This week, thought we were losing the motor, we kept it. So, hey, we're tickled to death.
Well, even with that, guys, he gave Bob Sineker a run for his money for second.
He started 19th today. Bill Baird out of Sturgis, Kentucky, does a great job to fight his way up to third. Let's take a look at the full field rundown. The points chase is really going to change around a little bit because of Hansen having problems early on. Gary St. Amant, as you see, comes home in 9th, and that's really going to turn some things around.
Tony Raines finishing back in 10th position. That will move Joe Knott, I believe, up in at least third, if not second, and those problems continue to definitely become paramount, Ralph, as this stretch run goes on. You need to have consistency, and unfortunately Mike Eddy and Scott Hansen both having problems today.
Brandon Sperling goes into the foam barriers, but is credited with 16th. Kevin Sawinski right up there all day long. Looked like he was going to maybe get his first win. He's credited with 17th. Mike Miller, what a good run he had going early on. Had to go through 3 laps down, fights his way back to well, it looked like he was going to fight his way back to a decent finish, but unfortunately he's deep in the field.
Mike Eddy, 26th on the day.
One thing we do want to thank is Angela Montgomery. She has been in charge of Pontiac's racing division here, handling all of their racing activities with the American Speed Association. She is leaving us. She's become the new zone manager sales for the Cleveland, Ohio zone. Way to go, Angela. Nice promotion. We wish you the best of luck. Hope to see you in another ASA race soon. Gary St. Amant, your new points leader. He's got 1,601. Scott Hansen slips to second, 1,593. Then it's Knott, Seneker, and Dave Sensabaugh. Coming up next, the best of Shade Tree Mechanic right here on TNN. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Dave Burns, nice job down in the pits. Trado, always like having you up next door to me. And all the guys down in the truck, nice job once again. Joey Knott gets his first ever AC-Delco Challenge Series win, the first time the ASA Series visits Lancaster Speedway. I'm Ralph Sheen. So long, everybody.
Shania.